This is Hallmark University Thursday Night Lights. Presented by Jack in the Box.
You are looking live, as you can see, at a very rainy Dub Ferris Stadium on San Antonio's north side. 1604 and Bandera, and McCollum and Clark are going to be playing in the wind and the rain on Hallmark University Thursday Night Lights. Good evening, everybody. Don Harris along with my broadcast partner, Chuck Mikatinik. Mike Hernandez down on the sidelines. And Chuck, this is going to be fun, huh?
Hey, it always is, Don, and what the heck? You know, what the heck? We got little elements for the action tonight. I think what's interesting is it's not the rain, obviously, per se, but the lightning sensors have gone off here at Dub Ferris, so we are in a bit of a rain delay, lightning delay here to start this game, but when we get it all going, it's going to be a good one tonight between the Cowboys and the Clark Cougars, and just saw some lightning, so looks like the delay is going to be at least another 15 minutes.
Well, hopefully it won't be too long. Let's go down to the sidelines. We're so fortunate to have our sideline reporter also be a certified meteorologist. For our ASCO game time weather, let's go down to Mike Hernandez. Mike?
All right, and you're looking at the field right now. You can see the rain coming down. It's kind of moderate. And again, we have kicked off those sensors, so we do have lightning in the area currently. And the radar right now is just indicating several pockets, the heaviest of which is right over the stadium right now. And then there's another pocket that's coming up from the south. It looks like it's starting to lose a little steam. So it looks like the heaviest of the activity is what we're seeing right now. And then after that, the rain will get much lighter, and hopefully they'll be able to get the game started. May start it in the rain, but I think as we progress through the evening, things will quiet down and it'll eventually go partly cloudy again.
All right, thanks a lot, Mike. When we do get going, we've got two evenly matched teams. First, let's talk about those McCollum Cowboys. Chuck, they're 0-3, but that's a little deceiving because this guy only played his first game a week ago.
Yeah, I mean, as you can look at Jonathan Handy's 2016 stats, I mean, this guy did it all for the Cowboys a season ago. He's still not 100%, still getting his legs underneath him, but obviously McCollum is going to have to get its running game going tonight because they are starting a freshman at quarterback.
On the defensive side for the Cowboys, I'm going to be calling Ryan Valdez's name quite a bit. Number 5 does it all. He tackles, he picks off passes, he returns kicks and punts.
He's one of those guys, Don, that's not going to leave the field the entire night. What an unbelievable ball player this guy is. He's kind of a hybrid linebacker safety type, but again, 35 tackles already for this young man and probably will not take a play off this evening.
The Clark Cougars got their first win of the season a week ago thanks to a big night from their quarterback, Jason Flores.
I think what's interesting about Jason's story is he got to Clark right before his junior year, but how quickly he's kind of taken this offense and run with it. I mean, the coaches knew that he could throw the football. As you take a look at his stats, what surprised them is his ability to tuck it and run with it as well. This kid has already amassed over 800 yards total offense, one of the most electrifying players in the city right now.
One of his big-time targets will be number 17, Luke Gibson, all-district first-teamer a year ago, and he'll be targeted even more tonight because Ben Sims, their Baylor commit, their big blue-chip prospect, is out with an injury.
Well, Luke is one of those guys that's a dual sport guy. As much as we love him on the football field, he's just as good a basketball player. This guy can do it all, comes from great bloodlines, great kid, and one of the great wideouts in this city, and one of the guys that can make some big plays for the Cougs downfield.
All right, it won't be long until we have kickoff here. When we come back, we'll have our Hallmark University keys to the game. It's Thursday Night Lights. McCollum and Clark on the CW 35.
Closed captioning for tonight's game is sponsored by Lymphedema MD.
Welcome back, all the fans taking shelter underneath the stands as we're in a bit of a rain and lightning delay. But right now it's time for our Hallmark University keys to the game. Chuck, first let's start with those McCollum Cowboys.
Well, for Greg Felix's bunch, they're looking for some offense and more than anything else, some consistency. So we'll start with that. And then lastly, these two things kind of go together. Ball security and win the turnover battle. It's been a struggle for the Cowboys to this point, but they're hoping to swing the pendulum tonight against the Cougs.
Yeah, just a few minutes ago, we asked Coach Greg Felix his thoughts on how they were going to get a spark offensively.
Well, hopefully, we've kind of got all our guys in place. Jonathan Handy, our running back, missed the first 2 ball games of the year. Last week was his first one, kind of getting that pregame jitters rust off. He's had a good week of practice. We're getting a little bit more consistent on offense with them gelling. So hopefully we'll be able to do all things all right.
Meanwhile, those Clark Cougars, Chuck, getting better every week. What are their keys tonight?
Yeah, play here, play there. Cougs could be 2-1, but for them, they want to win the turnover battle as well. Secondly, they want some big plays down the field tonight. And then lastly, they've had a lot of penalties in their first 3 games. They want to really clean that up tonight, play as clean a game, and put all 3 phases together against these Cowboys.
Yeah, we asked Steve McGee about cleaning it up, especially before they get into district play.
Forward.
Well, we're in a quality district. There's no question like that. We're in a quality city. Anytime you play someone, in San Antonio, it's going to be a great game. And obviously our zone, with O'Connor, Jay, Stevens, and Warren, we're going to have our hands full. So we're definitely excited about it.
All right, when we come back, it's McCollum and Clark. Mike Hernandez keeping an eye on the weather and the delays. Thursday Night Lights from Ferris Stadium when we finally decide to kick it off.
You're watching Hallmark University Thursday Night Lights, presented by Jack in the Box.
Welcome back to Dub Ferris Stadium. It is coming down sideways here on San Antonio's north side. You can hear the rain as well. Let's send it down to Mike Hernandez, our certified sideline reporter and meteorologist. Mike?
All right, yeah. I'm looking at the Doppler radar right now, and it looks like the heaviest concentration of the rain. And by the way, we are actually under the bleachers like everybody else behind me, as you can see. And again, we're waiting. So it's raining here. And we have the rain that's showing up on the radar. There's also a lot of lightning, but it's all concentrated right around these particular cells. So again, it looks like once this passes, the stuff behind it is not as strong, and hopefully that means we'll be able to start the game. But the delay, the way the delay works is every time that the lightning strikes, it resets the sensors, and there's another 30-minute delay. And we just heard it a few minutes ago, so there's at least another 30 minutes, it appears, before they'll start the game again. I'll continue to follow that, and we'll have more. I'm joined by Riley Walker from San Antonio Sports. How you doing?
It could be
this your
better,
fault?
but I'm dry. That's all I can say. I'm dry.
I'm not so much.
Oh, that's all right.
All right, so while we have a little time, let's talk a little bit about the Cheer Challenge, and that's a big thing that you guys do leading up to the All-Star game. Tell us how that all works.
Absolutely. Well, essentially, it's a chance for 4 local cheer squads to cheer in pretty much the highest level of high school football in the country. In the U.S. Army All-American Bowl, which will be televised on NBC, and the San Antonio Sports All-Star Football Game, which will be televised right here on CW.
All right. So if people want to get involved, they want to get their teams involved, how does that work?
It's simple. Go to www.sanantoniosports.org/cheer. Register your team online through there, and you better do it soon because you got about 2 weeks left.
Right. And then the payoff is they're actually going to get to be in that All-Star game and be able to cheer.
Oh, yeah,
and
they'll be superstars.
They get some money, too, don't they?
Yes, first and second place will win $1,000 and $500 respectively, and their top pick in whichever bowl game they want to cheer in, and then third and fourth place will get to cheer in the other bowl. So how could you beat it?
Riley, thanks a lot. That's a good deal. Okay, it looks like it's actually raining harder. Hey, you guys say hi. You're on TV Live. Hey, look. The Booster Club gave me a Cougar shirt. Pretty cool, huh? Back to you guys.
Look, I've had 3 kids go through the program here, and I got yet to get my free T-shirts.
Make sure you declare that on your taxes. It's on television. Everybody just saw it. Hey, Chuck, McCollum and Clark, as we said at the outset, look at these McCollum Cowboys. They're 0-3, but they play some pretty good football teams, especially in South San and Lee. They're just having a hard time putting up numbers, but they haven't had Jonathan Handy. And now that they have him, they think that they can put more points on the board.
Well, yeah, we could start with their opener against South San, and obviously the way the Bobcats have gotten off to a quick start to the season, no autopsy, no foul there. South San playing as well as anybody to start the beginning of the season. Then Central Catholic always has a decent team. They're able to score some points there. And then Lee, before they met these Clark Cougars last week, were also undefeated. But again, it's tough. when your first team, all-district bell cow, Jonathan Handy, who had 17 touchdowns and rushed for over 1,000 yards last year, wasn't there in the first 2 games. And then, as we said, last week kind of started to knock the rust off, was able to get back on the field, but they're hoping to get him more into a rhythm tonight against Clark, and that's the best part about the early season schedule here for McCollum, kind of like Clark, in that they've got some games early in the year to kind of get their footing before they start their league play.
Yeah, and we've had Lee up here twice. They lost, McCollum did to Somerset, 27-0 in week 3. Lee is who Clark played last week. Lee can't be in 2 places at once on the 15th. But when you look at the Clark Cougars, they're a team you can just tell by looking at them. Churchill's a very good team. They should have won or could have won the game with Roosevelt, and then we had Lee in week 1, and that's an impressive football team. So to beat Lee soundly shows you that Clark is on the rise.
Yeah, and you're right. I misspoke too, because that Somerset game with McCollum last week, they were able to shut those guys off. And and shut them out in the second half. So what a talented quarterback that Zadok Dinkelman is. So to be able to defensively stack up against Somerset in that game a week ago. But again, the Cougs making some strides. I mean, I know they let that Roosevelt game get away, and they felt like that was a game they should have had. But, you can't discount what Ben Sims brings to the table in terms of his ability to play the tight end position. And he got nicked up in the Reagan scrimmage. Played a little bit in the Churchill game, but he's been one of those guys right now. The Cougs haven't even been able to count on him yet, and yet scoring has not been a problem for Clark so far this season.
Well, we know one thing. Concession sales are going up here at Ferris Stadium. You see the warning light still going off. We're in a delay as we get ready for Clark and McCollum. We'll have much more of Hallmark University Thursday Night Lights when we return on the CW35.
Stadium, and we are in a rain delay right now. We're waiting for the game to start between McCollum and Clark. We're actually underneath the stands like everybody else here, trying to find a spot that's not leaking. That's the first priority. A quick check on the radar. We still have some lightning. We just heard lightning again. So what we're seeing right now is showers and thunderstorms right over the field. Everything is moving to the northwest at about 15 miles an hour. Behind that, there is some lighter rain that extends all the way back into Leon Valley, but I'm not seeing any lightning in that. So this seems to be the worst of it. That's right over us. Lucky us, right? All right, I am joined by Tina Schubert from Jack in the Box. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing great today. I brought my friend.
Who is your friend?
My friend's my really big chicken sandwich.
That's what the really big chicken sandwich looks like.
We've been talking about it, so I figured I'd bring him out and let him see.
I told her if she brings me something to eat every time, she's going to be much loved.
Oh, yeah.
So what do you think? Are you responsible for the rain here?
Oh, definitely. We need rain in San Antonio. I didn't want it to ruin the football game, but this is a good thing.
Well, thank you for being one of our sponsors. We really appreciate that, of course. I mean, sometimes we don't, we forget about that. We get caught up because you're so much fun to talk to. But thank Jack in the Box. Thank you all for what you do.
Well, thank you for letting us be part of this. It's always great to be out with the community.
So I think we've kept this dry. Guys, I'm going to taste test this for you, and we'll send this up to you later on.
Yeah,
so,
sure.
Anything left. We're going to be right back, so don't go away.
Welcome back to Dub Ferris Stadium, where the rain is still coming down. As Mike said before we went to break, we had a fresh lightning strike. That might reset the delay to another 15 minutes or so. But we are expecting a good ball game between McCollum and Clark. As you see the fans underneath the stands staying dry. Chuck, we always like to spotlight a couple of kids, including Hunter Thompson from your Clark Cougars.
Oh, look at the GPA. That says it all. He gets the walk-off win there, but as you see, National Honor Society, Young Men's Service League, just a great overall kid, and you can't beat the number as well. Number 22 in your heart, number 1 in your heart, he's Hunter Thompson.
Nice new unis. I'll get to that later in the program, by the way, for Clark. As for those McCollum Cowboys, Sergio Martinez also great in the classroom.
Yeah, and a multi-sport guy, too. As you can see, he also likes to do the track thing, but team captain, just a great overall kid and wants to study law enforcement someday at Angelo State.
Awesome. Good for him. We're always very impressed with the young men and women that are involved in all these extracurricular activities. And we learn something new about him each and every week here on Hallmark University Thursday Night Lights. If you're just joining us, we're in a rain delay here at Dub Ferris Stadium, but we're going to have good football for you when we come back.
You're watching Hallmark University Thursday Night Lights, presented by Jack in the Box.
Welcome back to Dub Ferris Stadium, still in that lightning/rain delay here on the north side. We're going to go down to Mike Hernandez, who is with the official that gets more television time than any ref in the country. Maybe get more airtime than even Mike Hernandez.
And
Mike,
Mike's saying something.
make sure you tell him that. Gerald Green, where are we at right now?
Gerald, so Don Harris is giving you a hard time, says you get more TV time than me, which is hard to do.
Yeah, it's very hard to do.
How are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Trying to stay dry, I take it.
Yeah.
Okay, can you explain to us how this works now? We're under the understanding that every time that sensor goes off, there's a 30-minute clock attached to it.
Yes, we wait an additional 30 minutes, even if it's 28 minutes has passed. If it goes off again, we wait again 30 more minutes.
So do you know where we're at right now in the time?
Right now, and I'll have to go back and look at the time, but I'm assuming we're probably about 15 minutes into this last one.
So we were looking at the radar right now. Matter of fact, if you guys can call up the radar there, you can see that the showers and the big area of rain is moving between Leon Valley and around the Helotes area 1604, which is approximately where we're at, closer to the Helotes area. And you can see the lightning strikes there. Those lightning strikes are moving to the northwest at about 15, 20 miles an hour. What that means is behind it, it is looking like things are quieting down. So, in my meteorological opinion, I think we're going to see this rain, probably this intensity for another 10, 15 minutes, and then it's going to start to clear on out, and after that it'll get much lighter, and I think the lightning threats will go away with that.
That'll be great so we can get this game going.
Hang on. Okay, so the question they have is they're asking about the official shortages that you guys have across Texas. If people want to help out, what can they do?
Yes, they can contact tasso.org and go on there and register to try to apply and get in.
That was what was it? Tasso?
Tasso.org.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. And is there a training process and all?
Yes, we have a training process where we bring in newer officials. I wouldn't say younger because they're at any age. To come on through and they get the proper training so they'll see the different type of plays, what to look for, how to call a game, and be the best fit official you can be.
So is this shortage something that's new? Is there a reason why it's happening now?
No, this shortage has been going on for a while now. Yes, we're really top heavy, as in Division I officials are your older officials, more experienced officials. And we're real top heavy because a lot of the younger, newer people are not coming in. But although this year we've had a good group of people, so we're doing pretty well this year.
How long have you been doing this?
I've been doing it 23 years.
Wow. Yeah. Wow, you must love it.
Yes, I do. I do.
All right, well, thank you so much. I appreciate you taking time out and spending some time
Thank
with
you.
it. Please keep us posted, okay?
I will. Thank you.
All right, guys, back to you.
Yeah, and that's what we're talking about. We talked about a little bit last week, Chuck, is this officiating shortage. You know, these guys at age 20, he's been doing it 23 years. When you have that kind of experience, you can move on to the colleges and Division I level. And they're just not young guys getting in at age 23 and 24. I don't know why that is, but we're all indebted. Any of us who had kids who play sports are indebted to the guys like Gerald who, they're not going to get rich doing this. They have regular day jobs, but this is their hobby and it's a side gig and they enjoy it. You can make a little extra cash. But, it's something that really the community needs to step up to help these kids so that they're able to participate in extracurricular
Yeah, and I mean, if you were an athlete as a kid growing up and playing, and it's your passion and you already like sports, you study the rule book a little bit, you might find yourself, you might actually make a good official. That's what I've always said. When I retire, that's what I'm going to go do, because as much as I complain watching games on TV, I owe it to somebody to go back and get some of that myself.
You're going to call balls and strikes?
I'd love to do that, even with my bad peepers, but I'd fit right in, right?
No, they're better than that.
I'm kidding.
Let's go back down to Mike Hernandez. Mike?
Okay. All right, guys, we're back downstairs, and again, we are underneath the stands right now. Joining me, come on over here, Caitlin. Caitlin Munoz, our CW 35 Insider. How are you?
I'm good. Sorry, the rain was distracting me. It's coming down.
It's crazy. Yeah, I know. And matter of fact, you can see it. You're off the lights here. You guys can't see it from here, but it's still coming down at a pretty good clip. All right, so while we got a minute here and you have some time to talk about this, tell us about some of the things that are going on with the CW and then how folks can get involved.
Okay, so first off, you want to join the CW crew. So if you just text CW crew to 44332, you're part of the crew. We'll send you messages about different events that are going on and different things we're giving tickets away to. So we're going to be giving away Texans tickets soon. We still don't have a date, but we're going to be doing that. I also know soon we're giving away Santico's movie passes. There's a lot of good movies out there.
Yeah, there are.
But Comic-Con, when that comes up, we'll be doing that too. So you want to be a part of the crew to know what's going on. Anytime we're out at events, we always have a booth set up. We've given away things like iPads, the huge Yeti cooler things, the actual Yeti brand. So lots of great opportunities to win different things and to go to different things just by being a part of the crew. You get 2 text messages a month, so we don't harass you. We're not sending you messages every day, so it's a good deal.
All right. Well, you've been doing this now for how long? 2 seasons?
2 seasons.
Yeah. And Caitlin and I go way back to the Daytime at 9 show a few years back. Of course, you were 12 then or something.
I know. Now I'm 13. No, I'm just kidding. But last time, remember last year, it rained here too. Last season? Remember that?
Yes. Man. I think we were underneath the same.
Yes, we were under the same thing. This
Yeah.
time I got attacked by mosquitoes in less than 10 minutes. Yeah.
They like
Not
you, yeah.
good.
All right, well, thank you. I appreciate all you do. Okay, we're going to send it back to you guys, and we're going to see if we can find somebody from NISD to talk about what's going on as well.
All right, thanks a lot, Mike. You can see the weather. Still raining here at Ferris Stadium. We'll check on exactly where that reset clock is and how close we are to kicking it off when we come back. Welcome back to Dub Ferris Stadium. The clouds, as you can see, still hovering right over the stadium. The rain still coming down, and most importantly, the yellow light still flashing right behind the scoreboard, which is the monitor of the static electricity in the air. And when that light goes out, we'll play football. But Mike Hernandez is all over it, knowing when the storm should pass through, and then we'll get these 2 teams out here and kick it off. In the meantime, we're going to take a look at our Hallmark University TNL Top 10. Top 10 teams in the area. The Judson Rockets, Chuck, ranked now nationally. And why shouldn't they be, right?
What I think is interesting, Don, too, is before we even talk about the Rockets, how about the back end of this poll? I mean, at the beginning of the year, if you'd have said, hey, 3 weeks into the season that not only South San, but Wagner would be undefeated, I mean, I think you'd have to say you would be surprised by that. You cannot say enough about the job that the coaching staffs at both of those schools have done to kind of turn things around at those 2 programs. I mean, just an outstanding job. We're so happy that both South San and Wagner have cracked the top 10. But yeah, you're right. I mean, the way Judson's going right now, I mean, clearly, one of the class of the area, no doubt, but in the entire state as well. And then even nationally, as you said, I mean, they've got talent on top of talent. Defense is still pretty young, but they've got so many weapons on both sides of the ball. Yeah, the Judson Rockets, you think, are poised to make another long state playoff run this year, but they're going to have some company. I mean, you can go right down the list. We saw O'Connor, and those guys really playing all out a week ago against Steele, where they were doing all these onside kicks, and Coach Molesky having his bunch ready to play in a big game. And, we got a lot of good teams, and obviously what's so cool about where we're at in this season, there's so many chapters of this entire book that still have yet to be written, and we're just warming up.
Yep, and you look at the Steel Knights. I don't think they've ever lost 3 straight. They play in Smithson Valley this week, who's now number 3. You looked at the top. O'Connor's number 2. They played them. They played Austin Lake Travis the week before that, and now Smithson Valley. So whoever's making the schedule for the Steel Knights, they are definitely getting prepared as they open up district play with Smithson Valley. David Hovda from Northside now joins us in the booth, and David's one of the guys that's always in the runs the clock and the game operations here. David, what's the latest? How does this work?
Well, it looks to me like we're maybe about an hour delay from best I can look with the radar and stuff, but maybe more. But yeah, when that goes off over there, the light goes off, it'll be about 15 minutes more.
So when the light goes off, we've got 15 minutes.
Yeah, I work as administrator a lot of times at the athletic events, and we used to have a handheld lightning detector. And we were in charge of making a decision, which I didn't like because it's a lot of pressure on you.
Yeah, I would imagine.
And this one takes a lot of pressure off the administrators, but it works a little bit different because, like, if a front run moves through, it can be like 2 miles past you, let's go play. It's obviously by you. But this one right here, if the lightning occurs, and even though it's by you, it'll still wait 15 minutes before it gives the all-clear buzzer.
Okay, some sort of technology that monitors the static electricity in the air. Doesn't matter where it's going or where it came from.
Yeah, that's exactly correct. So even if it's by you, the front is by you, you'll still be a while as compared to what we used to do with the handheld ones.
Okay, so your best guess is an hour delay from when it started or an hour from now?
From when it started would be my guess, looking at the radar and everything.
Okay, so what do you think we got left? About 30 minutes maybe?
Well, you know, there's a real good app called WeatherBug that I use all the time, and it's very accurate. And
not more accurate than our Mike Hernandez, is it?
he may
no
be,
pressure, bro. No pressure.
He may be using it himself. But WeatherBug has an app, and it tells you the last lightning strike in the last 30 minutes was 0.1 miles away.
Okay.
And we found this to be very accurate.
You see, Don, you come to this field, you think you're going to get football, and what happens?
You get a lesson.
You get a tutorial. You've taken something away tonight that's going to help you the rest of your life. You're not too old to learn.
Absolutely not. I learn something new every day. All right, David, so your best guess is?
8:10.
8:10.
That's just a guess.
That's just
All
a
right.
guess.
That's just a guess. We won't hold you to it. Appreciate it very much, David. Thanks. Let's head down to Mike Hernandez. Mike, you got that weather app? You got that bug?
I do, and you know what? What he's saying is pretty close based on the time element after the sensors go off and the time you have to wait. It is getting better out there as far as showing up on the radar, the stuff that's coming at us. Matter of fact, the strongest stuff right now is a little to our west, but that's where the lightning is still, and that's what's still kicking off the sensors. So, but it is moving away, and it doesn't look like there's anything nearly as intense coming up. So, again, as I said earlier, 5 or 10 minutes more of this kind of rain, and then I think it's going to start to gradually improve. And then it's just going to be a waiting game where they have to wait that designated amount of time. I think we'll be able to get everybody started again. This is Laura Goldman, and you are with the the Booster Club.
Athletic Boosters.
All right. Say hi, ladies. Hey. They did not want to be on TV. I gotcha. Go Cougars. How you doing? So you set this up every game, and thanks for the shirt.
Yes.
Every home game?
Yes, every home game.
So I figured you'd have a captive audience and you'd have a crowd here, but you actually had to put stuff away because of the leaks.
Yes.
I think you should walk around with these and send the ladies out there.
Selling the shirts?
Selling the shirts.
Yeah.
How long you been doing this?
This is my first year.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, and how do you like it?
I love it. It's great.
Ladies, how long have you been doing this?
4 years.
4 years?
But I'm an alumni, so.
Really?
My second.
No?
3 years.
3 years? 3 years. Your daughters are, okay, yeah, and I think a lot of the parents get involved because of that. Well, listen, y'all keep up the good work. And thanks for the shirt again. I appreciate it. And she gave me a large, not a XXL, which I really appreciate it. You take care.
Thank you.
All right. Go Cougars. All right, back to you guys.
All right, thanks, Mike. We've got plenty more coming from McCollum and Clark, as you heard. Kickoff probably will be just after the top of the hour. Don't go anywhere. It's fun to watch it rain on Hallmark University Thursday Night Lights.
You're watching Hallmark University Thursday Night Lights, presented by Jack in the Box.
Welcome back to Dub Ferris. McCollum and Clark going to kick off after the top of the hour. We're in a rain/lightning delay here on San Antonio's north side, but the storm is moving quickly, as Mike Hernandez has explained. In the meantime, Mike Hernandez has challenged Chuck McCollum to a 40-yard dash race at midfield on the hash marks, but because of security concerns and because they don't allow you on the field, Chuck, during the lightning delays, they're going to not allow that. I know that breaks your heart because you were going to whip him.
I don't know about that. I was thinking it was more like liability, that they didn't want.
That's it.
There'd be a couple of things that.
Oh, not lightning liability, just like hamstring, Achilles.
Dude, with either one of our tickers, if we have to exert ourselves, it might not be a pretty ending.
Golly,
that's for sure.
so it wasn't even orthopedic. It was much more serious
Oh,
than
absolutely.
That.
Now,
All
at
right.
my age, it's everything.
Well, that wouldn't be good TV. But you know what is? The American athlete. And we're going to turn it over to one of their great stories while we wait for kickoff here at Dub Ferris. Welcome back to Dub Ferris. McCollum and Clark just minutes away from getting back underway here after a rain and lightning delay, but we're still at least 15 minutes there. Let's get the very latest from Mike Hernandez, who's standing by with the Cowboys head coach, Greg Felix. Mike?
Yeah, guys, so I was standing actually out here, and it's a very light sprinkle right now. Coach, I mean, what do you think?
You know, right now the rain is probably the least of our concerns, just kind of waiting for the lightning to get out of the area.
Yeah, and again, the way it works, and I'm sure you know this, but this sensor that we're seeing right here that's flashing is the sensor that actually goes off when it indicates the lightning, and then it's a 30-minute delay from whenever it went off the last time. So in this case, I think right at this point, since just looking at the radar, there's not any more new lightning that's showing up, and the showers seem to be weakening in what we're standing in front of right now and not much coming up behind it. It looks like we're done as far as the thunderstorm chances and the lightning issue, so it's just a question of now waiting it out. You players, how you been keeping them motivated in there?
We just, just kind of get them off their feet, just talking to them a little about X's and O's of what our schemes were for the week and for today, and just keep them focused in what's going on.
So we were talking off camera a few minutes ago. So Clark, old school, kind of a running team. This year they're kind of like 50-50 as far as their pass to run ratio. Do you think the rain helps, at least makes it one-dimensional for y'all?
No, I don't think so. With the light mist, I think it's just, as if it hadn't at all. The field may be a little bit slippery here or there, but I think the players will get used to it over a few series here and there, and I think the field will play fine.
But do you think, I think both sides will probably be maybe a little more run heavy tonight?
It just depends. I think, like I said, if it stays like it is, I don't think it's that big of an issue. Throwing the ball, as long as we got plenty of balls in our arsenal and a lot of towels, so we'll hopefully keep them dry.
All right. So it looks like it won't be too long, Coach. I'll let you get back to your team.
All
Thank
right,
you so much.
sir.
I appreciate you coming in. All right, guys, back to you. It doesn't look bad, though, actually. We literally are out here, and I can see breaks in the overcast, and it looks like you saw on the radar, it looks like the worst of it is long gone and weakening very fast. So just a question, I think, at this point of getting past the timer.
Let's get on with it then.
Yes.
In our day, Chuck, we played in the lightning, and we liked it.
And we took salt tablets and a lot of them, and we liked those too.
We rubbed dirt on it, and lightning was striking right next to us. Nobody complained.
It wasn't always smart, so we'll go with evolution.
Hey, this isn't the only game you and I are getting to call this week. We're both fired up about the game this weekend up in San Marcos. UTSA and Texas State, Saturday at 6:30, right here on the CW35. It's been very interesting to watch the back and forth, not only between the two coaches, Frank Wilson and Everett Withers, but really the alumni and the fans on social media. The general thinking is that UTSA is in a better conference, the bigger brother, and they're kind of playing down with nothing to win, nothing to gain by playing Texas State. But if you see what the Texas State folks are putting out there, at least on social media, and you're a Texas State grad, they don't see it that way. I guess they see the fact that they've been playing football for 100 years is that they're the bigger, better program. It's interesting.
Well, I just think it's going to be a great matchup because, I think if you were to look at the two programs right now on paper, you'd have to say that UTSA is in a better place right now than Texas State. But Everett Withers is having to kind of strip the program down and rebuild as opposed to what's going on at UTSA, where Frank Wilson has obviously, there was already some talent there when Larry Coker took over, and now he's taken it another level. But it's going to be interesting because I know that both coaches have kind of alluded to the fact that they need this rivalry. And all schools need rivalries, whether it's one right up the road or ones that you have in conference. So if you're UTSA, you're looking for rivalries from anybody at this point. And although the two programs have only played once, and that was 5 years ago, and quite frankly, that was a shocker that, UTSA could have this fledgling program and beat the established Bobcats. But let's be honest. I mean, I don't think the two schools have ever really been fond of one another. They've always looked at it as kind of a rivalry. There's been rivalries in other sports. So I think it's going to be fun. And I think there is going to be a little juice in this game because of that.
I think there's going to be juice because Frank Wilson doesn't see it as a rivalry because he looks at it, neither does Everett Withers. We've only played each other once in football, and they're both relatively new to the schools. It's folks like you, graduated in the 80s, or our good friend Jim Bob Brazil, or somebody like that who's a rabid Texas State fan who remembers the basketball rivalries, the baseball rivalries back in the day, that they just don't like each other. And so I think the coaches are catching on to that. At the same time, I don't think, although Frank Wilson, I think, admits he wants the rivalry, I don't think he wants to be considered on Texas State's level. This week when he was asked about, do you recruit the same kids, he kind of brushed it off as, no, not at all. We can get a much better athlete to come to UTSA than they can get to go to Texas State. He didn't say that, but that's kind of what he inferred, is that we don't compete for the same kids. Meanwhile, if you're Texas State, that's exactly the reason you want it to be a rivalry, because of that attitude if you're a UTSA fan.
Well, again, I mean, it's tough when you're starting a program and you're trying to build what they are at UTSA. When you talk about playing in Conference USA and all these different teams that they're getting a chance to play, sure, you hope at some point the Rice game is a big rivalry game. You hope at some point that the UTEP game is another rivalry game, the North Texas game. But, Old Dominion, you're looking for anybody to have an earmarked game on the calendar. It's like, we're really zeroing in on this one. You want these little landmines to pop up during the course of a schedule that you can kind of sink your teeth into. But I like what Josiah Taueva said, UTSA star linebacker, when he said, look, it's natural. I go to UTSA, I don't like Texas State. And conversely, I don't either. When you're talking about when if he said if he would go to Texas State, he wouldn't like UTSA. That's the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah, you went to Texas State. I went to North Texas. Both of those teams have been playing football for 100 years. They don't have rich football traditions in the fact that they, when Hayden Fry coached at North Texas, we beat Tennessee in 1973.
Yeah, but Texas State won national championships in the early 80s. So
in Division
But it's been
2.
a while since, and Coach Bailiff had a nice run in there too before he went over to Rice.
Absolutely, but what's interesting though is UTSA, and where both of us would give props to UTSA is they've only been doing this 7 years,
right?
And they've got a program right now where they're favored by 2 touchdowns over Texas State this week. And if they play North Texas later in the year, although Seth Luttrell has rebuilt North Texas a little bit, what they've done and what Frank Wilson's done just in the last couple of years with the kind of kids that he can get, and Larry Coker did a great job before him, but as you said, Frank took it to another level with the kind of kids he's recruiting. UTSA has come a long, long way in a short period of time.
Yeah, there is, and we talked about this as well. It's not only, the quality that they've been able to stack on top of quality since Larry Coker, but two, just the way they've been able to coach these guys up. I mean, his staff is tremendous. I mean, he's got coaches that, have NFL experience, that have coached in major programs, and you can see how that is all kind of bared fruit. I mean, these guys, if you're not paying attention to what's going on with UTSA's football team, you're really missing out on something. I mean, this is a team that can do a lot of damage. I mean, they're as deep and as talented as any team that we've seen in this neck of the woods, quite frankly, including the entire state.
Yeah, it's not there's no secret why Frank Wilson is being rumored for the Ole Miss job, possibly for the Auburn job if they decide to run off Gus Malzahn. He is definitely on his way up the coaching charts, and one reason is what he's done at UTSA. Although, I must say this, Texas State's performance last week against Appalachian State really surprised me after their start of the season. And I think they will be, if nothing else, very competitive because of A, the rivalry, and B, their improving football team.
I think what I like about what Coach Withers has done when he's been up there is the fact that, hey, this guy, he's been in some big programs too. He did a very good job at James Madison University, and, he's trying to institute his culture there. And last year, obviously, there was a shock for a lot of kids, and it's like he told us on conference call this week, you know, we're not running anybody off. These kids are running themselves off, the ones that can't get with the program or what we're trying to instill here. And I think what he's done is he's instituted a certain expectation level. They're sticking to it. He's a tough-minded guy, and I like the fact that he's talked about building his team up front on both sides of the ball, both the offensive line and defensive line. So, you know, he's kind of a gruff guy. He expects a lot from the guys that are there. He's expecting a lot from a lot of young players, and some of these guys are going to have to grow up as they grow up inside the program. But, you know, again, it's one of those things where they're in a little different place right now, just if for no other reason, a lot of the inexperience that they have at certain positions. But I think they're heading in the right direction, too.
Yep, the rebuilding. Hey, let's go down to Mike Hernandez, who's got our Hallmark University sponsors.
Yes, gentlemen, I am joined by Micah Bell. He's the director of marketing for our title sponsor, Hallmark University. How you doing?
Good. How are you doing?
Well, I appreciate you coming out here.
Thank you.
Not as wet now. It looking better.
Yeah. Hopefully everyone gets to get out here soon and
I think so.
Start playing.
I think so. Yeah. All right. Tell us a little bit for people that aren't familiar with all that Hallmark University is and does. Yeah. Could you give us it in a nutshell?
Yeah, well, you know, we're a private nonprofit university, you know. We offer master's, bachelor's, and associate's degrees in 4 areas of study: IT, cybersecurity, healthcare, business, and aeronautics. And so we've been serving the community since 1969 and, you know, really doing our best to change lives. That's what our mission is, to change individual lives.
Yeah, and you guys do so much. When you're talking about changing lives, I mean, how does that come about?
Yeah, so all of our areas of study lead to outcomes, and so whatever it is, we look at the city of San Antonio and we say, how can we impact the city through providing education that leads to good careers, and so that's what we do. Additionally, what we're really happy to announce is the Outstanding Educator Award, and so we're looking to the leaders of the community, and we want to honor them and what the amazing impact they have to the students of San Antonio. So we are going to receive nominations through our Hallmark University website, and we're going to award them with an all-expense paid trip to, you know, this summer take a great cruise and just, you know, kick back and enjoy some time. So we'd like people to look to their leaders and nominate them through our website, and we'd love to just honor them and bless them and send them on a nice trip.
That is great. So what's the timeline on that?
We are going to be wrapping it up with TNL, actually. So on the final TNL game is when we're going to announce the winner.
Awesome.
And so we're taking nominees right now through November.
That's great. I appreciate it, Micah. You take care, and thank you, Hallmark University, for being a part of TNL. We really do appreciate it. And glad you're a part of our team.
Sure thing.
Back to you guys.
All right, Mike, nothing official yet, but we are hearing that we could be as close as 15 to 20 minutes away from playing football. So we'll have much more coming from Dub Ferris Stadium, Hallmark University, Thursday Night Lights.
You're watching Hallmark University Thursday Night Lights, presented by Jack in the Box.
And welcome back to Thursday Night Lights. Again, we're in a rain delay. The game between McCollum and Clark is, I think, going to start what we were hearing Don just mentioned, about 15, 20 minutes, hopefully sooner than that. You look behind me, you can see the flashing light there, and that is the lightning sensor, and that's the one we're waiting to turn off. But the coaches are ready to go. I'm joined by a group from McCollum High School. This is their broadcasting group. This is Mr. Garcia. He's the instructor. How are you?
Good, sir. Thank you for having me.
Appreciate you bringing them down here.
Absolutely. This is a great opportunity for them.
Well, you know what? They're great kids. I'm going to let them introduce themselves.
Okay. So I'm Xavier Flores. I'm the president of our CTSO student-led organization, Cowboy Productions.
All right. And?
I'm Alexis Garcia, and I'm the treasurer of Cowboy Productions.
Alyssa Mendoza, member.
Hi, I'm Stacy Gomez, and I'm the vice president for Cowboy Productions.
I'm Naucali Mendoza.
Okay, so you guys, again, they're coming out here today so that they can shadow us and kind of see what goes on. They already went into the production truck and been following the photographers around along with me and just trying to see what it's like. And you got to see something that most of them don't, and that is the fact that we had to ad-lib. We really had to kind of throw the scripts out the window because of the rain delay. So you get a kind of a real look at what it's like doing live television on the fly. What do you think?
It was was really interesting. Obviously, we were talking about how, you record things and you go live, and, like he said, we had to throw the scripts out the window and just kind of go with it. And it was really interesting to see how it's done when even the worst. But like they say, the show must go on.
Okay, now, so you all actually are, this Cowboy Productions, do you all actually produce your own segments?
Yes, actually, this is part of the career and technology education course that they're in. And this year we're starting a new program, a new initiative, and with new equipment, we will be doing recorded broadcasts. Eventually, hopefully in the spring, we're going to be live streaming.
That's great. You excited about that? So who's going to be the reporter? Everybody's looking at the instructor going, yeah, you tell me. All right, so aspirations, guys. What do you want to do? Do you want to do, now that you're doing this, do you think you want to make this a career? And if so, what do you like to do? I mean, sports, weather, directing, editing, that kind of thing?
So really, I enjoy editing. It's a really great just time to like kind of get the whole show wrapped up and put out there for everybody else to see.
Yeah, we always need editors, that's for sure. And?
I'd hopefully like to become an anchor. I enjoy being in front of the camera, and also like Xavier, just learning what goes on. So options are definitely open.
So most people start as reporters, and a lot of times you start as what's called MMJs, and those are photographers, reporters. They call them one-man bands, and they have to go out, shoot the stories, and then set up the camera and do the whole McClue. That's normally the first step, and hopefully, if you develop and things work out, then one day you get to be an anchor. So that's kind of the process.
Yes, it's very exciting. Like, I get to watch you today, and it's been a great opportunity.
Well, don't watch me. And you, ma'am, what would you like to do?
At the moment, I'm still not too sure, but definitely changed my mind, maybe minoring in broadcasting.
Okay.
Still something very new.
Yeah, so and these internships are great for that sort of thing, and?
I would also like to be a news anchor, and I don't know, it's like I like being in front of the camera because it helps me with like not being shy and like helping me like communicate in front, so I would like to be
I think you can do that too. You got a great smile. Ann?
I am a fan of sports, so I would like to do sports segments.
Hoorah, all right. Hey, there you go, guys. We got our next sports intern ready to go there. Okay, we're going to send it back to you. Thank you all for being able to spend some time out with us. I appreciate it. And good luck in your development. If anything I can do for you all during the year, just let us know, okay?
Thanks.
Back to you guys.
Yeah, Mike, what you should do is probably have them all come up to the booth and hang with me and Don, and they'll learn what not to do.
That's a good idea, actually. All right.
Each week we like to spotlight kids who are doing it both on the field and on the court, and also in the classroom. We've got some outstanding student athletes that we spotlight in our Vulcan Materials Company Scholar Athletes of the Week.
This is Miranda Rich, a senior at McCollum High School. She plays volleyball right now, but she's actually a multiple sport athlete.
I play volleyball, and the last 3 years I played basketball and softball, and I just joined cross country this year.
On top of that, she's busy in the community as well.
For my school, I'm in a program called a School for Teen Leadership. So we do charity work whenever we can. And then this year, the seniors, we get to go to our internships, which means I'll be interning at a physical therapy center. So I'm excited to start that.
Now, one of the other things Miranda does is work as a lifeguard, teaching children to swim. While working one day, though, something amazing happened.
This little girl had a seizure in the water, and me and my sister and this other lifeguard that we worked with, we had to pull her out of the water and then get EMS to come, and yeah, it was pretty scary.
Miranda's goals include graduating with a degree in physical therapy and one day opening up her own practice. Our next scholar athlete comes to us from Clark High School. This is Caitlin Lorenz. She also is a volleyball player, along with being on the varsity basketball team the last 3 years, and plays club volleyball as well. A very busy young lady.
I think it's really a mentality. So if you're just persistent in what you do and you're really passionate about what you do, I'm very passionate about my sports and passionate about my grades. And then I also really enjoy volunteering. So when you combine all those passions together, it really doesn't seem like much work. It just seems like the days kind of fly by and you're just doing what you love.
Along with all that, Caitlin is carrying a 103.2 GPA. She's been involved in the band, the Latin Club, and the Fellowship of Christian Athletes, and works in the community as well.
My favorite would probably be either Lock Hill Mentoring, where we go and mentor elementary school students, or volunteering at Haven for Hope.
And as for her future plans, it sounds like she's planning on staying pretty busy.
Hopefully I will get into a good pre-med program. I've applied to Baylor, Washington University, Johns Hopkins, and A&M. And so hopefully I will get into one of those schools. And then after finishing my undergraduate in medication, I'm going to pursue a degree in medicine.
Caitlin Lorenz and Miranda Rich, the Vulcan Materials Scholar Athletes of the Week.
All right, the light is off. The horn has blown. The all-clear horn has blown. This is Kevin Hamilton, Assistant Athletic Director. How are you doing? What's the process now? How are they going to do this? What's the timeline on this?
Yeah, our third guard unit tells us everything that tells us when we're going to stop, when we're going to start back up again. So throughout this delay, we've been in contact with both coaches in their dressing rooms, letting them know once we get the all clear, how much time do we need to warm up. They mutually agreed upon 10 minutes, as you see on the clock right there. We're going to warm up for 10 minutes. We're going to have the national anthem. We'll play it because the band's left. We still have our color guard here that will present the colors, and then we'll play football.
So the halftime then is going to be a shortened...
Halftime will be shortened probably along the lines of 5 to 10 minutes, since there will be no band performances. Coaches have already agreed upon that as well.
Okay, well, great. Thank you for taking the time to spend. I know you're a busy man. I'll let you get to work.
Appreciate it.
All right, so that's the story. Looks like the timer is actually on now. It's about a little less than 7 minutes. They'll be starting play here, and then it looks like it's going to be an abbreviated halftime as well. Back to you.
All right, thanks a lot, Mike. So, just to reset for you, we've got the McCollum Cowboys at 0-3, but they're getting their key running back, Jonathan Handy, back tonight, and they've been competitive. Meanwhile, the Clark Cougars started slowly against the Churchill Chargers in week 1, but they've battled back to play Roosevelt to a 49-48 score on the short end of that 2 weeks ago. And then they beat Robert E. Lee, who you may have seen here in week 1 on TNL and who started the season 2-0. So Clark, definitely their arrow is on the way up. They were without Ben Sims, their Baylor commit, a tight end who's one of the best players in the entire area. But Steve McGee getting his Clark squad ready, and McCollum doing the same for Greg Felix, and we're going to kick it off here in about 6 or 7 minutes. We'll have the national anthem, and then we'll get going. So both squads, Chuck, warming up, stretching out. You and I are going to have to do the same thing in this next break. I'm stretching. I'm ready to call it a game. It's much more strenuous than playing.
Yeah, all I did was overeat.
We're coming back with a kickoff right after this.
You're watching Hallmark University Thursday Night Lights, presented by Jack in the Box.
Welcome back to Dub Ferris Stadium. The McCollum Cowboys warming up, getting ready to get after it against the Clark Cougars, as we will kick off just about an hour later than scheduled because of a rain and lightning delay here at 1604 and Bandera. Right now, we want to take you through the starting lineups in both teams and kind of focus on some of the big characters tonight, including Jonathan Handy, the running back who's just got back last week for the first time.
Yeah, as we take a look at both teams warming up here before the ball game, there's Mr. Handy right there. And he's a handy dandy. It's really, you talk about McCollum and their slow start to the season. Well, as we mentioned at the onset, this young man missed the first couple of games. He's been a little banged up. And then last week, he was just starting to get back out on the football field, probably felt the rust, still not 100%. I imagine he's not 100% yet tonight, but, I mean, you can't discount what this guy did and what he meant to this offense just based on his performance last year alone. So, that's the great part about the early part of this season, is that McCollum's still got a couple of games to get this thing figured out before they get into the league play aspect of their season. And this is a guy they want to be infinitely ready and healthy when the real bullets start flying in a couple of weeks.
Meanwhile, Ryan Valdez is their playmaker on defense in preparing for this game. Every time I look at my spotter board, he's all over the place. He's at safety, he's at linebacker, he's at punt returner, he's at kick returner. The only thing he doesn't do is coach.
Yeah, he might do that too.
He'll be all over the field tonight, and one of the best defensive players in the entire city. As far as the Clark Cougars, Jason Flores is learning this new Clark offense. Mike talked about how they've been a running team for many, many years. They're just starting to get the hang of this new system that they're running there at Clark.
Well, there's so many good athletes at this high school, and Jason's obviously one of them. I talked about at the onset as well that Jason came to Clark right before the start of his junior year. He's also a very talented baseball player. They knew this guy could throw the football, and as you take a look at his stats just last week alone, that kind of bears it out. But I think what's interesting is how comfortable or how seamless he's made this, where, you know, he was maybe saw a little bit of action at that spot last year, but to take it and have over 800 yards of offense already through 3 games tells you how well this young man's adapted to the quarterback position.
And there's Luke Gibson. He was an all-district first-teamer a year ago and is putting up big numbers again. And the coach had told me pregame that he'll even be a bigger target tonight because Ben Sims is out with a knee injury. And so Gibson, who is already one of the favorite targets, will be the guy they're looking for tonight.
Well, Ben Sims definitely is one of those kids that, you know, Clark would love to have, but he was, you know, a little nicked up in the Reagan scrimmage, and he rolled with it in the their first game of the year, the Gucci Bowl against Churchill. But, you know, they decided, hey, we don't want this nagging, so we're going to sit Ben out. And, you know, he's obviously committed to Baylor, and we talked to him before the game. He said he's firm on Baylor. He's going to stay there. But Luke Gibson is another kid. You know, Don, I've seen this kid play all kinds of sports since he was 10 years old. He's always looked the part. He's never looked like the moment was too big for him. I mean, going back to Little League when he's batting cleanup with a bunch of 12-year-olds and he's only 10 and looking the part. And, you know, he's one of the best basketball players in this entire area. Could be playing baseball too, but because of how much interest he's gotten on the basketball level, you know, he's had to kind of pare his sports down. But who knows, he may end up be playing playing for Clark at some point on their baseball team. And apparently he's doing just as much with the football too, and already starting to get some looks. Apparently he went up on a visit to Texas State for football. So big things happening for Luke Gibson as well.
Just a terrific all-around athlete. The color guard has taken the field, and we are getting ready now for our national anthem. And soon we'll be playing football.
And I think we're all happy about that because I'm all talked out and the game hasn't even started yet. And I'm sure there are people at home going, yes, you have been.
All right, we'll turn it over to our public address announcer here at Ferris Stadium.
Is Cadet Major Alexis Gonzalez. Cadet Lieutenant Colonel Ethan Martin is carrying the Texas flag. The United States Air Force flag is being carried in by Cadet Second Lieutenant Drake Atkins. The Air Force Junior ROTC flag is being carried by Cadet Second Lieutenant Kennedy Drake. The Clark, Texas flag is being carried by Cadet Second Lieutenant Norma Murillo. The United States flag is being guarded by Cadet Master Sergeant Isaac Gonzalez. And the Texas flag is being guarded by Cadet Captain Enrique Gonzalez. At this time, we will now have the playing of the national anthem. Please rise and remove your hats to honor America and the men and women serving in our armed forces throughout the world.
Welcome back, everybody. We are finally ready to play some football on Hallmark University Thursday Night Lights. McCollum and Clark getting ready to do battle here at Ferris Stadium. You can see Coach Greg Felix getting his Cowboys ready. They're dressed in white. Clark, the home team, and they're all black. And great rendition of our national anthem, and it's time to finally get this thing underway.
I think we can all be happy about that.
I'm ready. Gerald Green's ready.
Yeah, Steve McGee and his Clark Cougs are ready too. Of course, back in the day, McGee was an all-state tight end in the mid-'80s and played collegiately at Baylor. As you said, Don, his team's off to a 1-2 start, but they really felt like they had that Roosevelt game and play here, play there, and maybe they're 2-1. But again, still the young part of the season. These guys, both of these teams, trying to build towards league play, and so a lot of experimentation early on in some of these non-district games.
Time for our Ernest Roofing kickoff. Ernest Roofing, they've got you covered. Back deep for the Cougars. Kenny Bivens, who's a very electric football player, and also Eric Wente. And they will take the kick off the foot of Brian Martinez, and we are underway. Down right there at the 27-yard line, and that's where the Cougars will have it first. Of course, Clark is led by Jason Flores. He's their quarterback that we talked about in the pregame. You can see his numbers on the season, 34 of 54. He's also toted it for 238 yards on 40 carries. And Wente and Bivens will be his primary threats running the football. Bivens is also one of his leading receivers, but again, Ben Sims is out tonight, so keep your eye on 17, Luke Gibson. And just like that, we've already got a penalty flag on the field, and a false start's going to be called on the Cougars. See if Gerald Green's microphone's working tonight.
False start, offense, 5-yard penalty, first down.
There you see the officiating crew, and not the start that Steve McGee wants to get off to, but not surprising considering the delay, wet conditions. It's Wente coming this way, gets a block, and nice gain. Back nearly to the original line of scrimmage as we take a look at our starting lineups. Up front for the Cougars, keep an eye on Brendan Tackett. He's one of their star players there on the front with Rudy Garcia, who's getting some college interest. And then we got Bivens running the football right there, part of that group I've already discussed for the Clark skill position players.
Yeah, I've got a lot of speed, some talented athletes, and Jason Flores right now running this offense about as well as it can be run. I mean, I think the amazing thing about it is he's not turning the ball over either.
3rd down and 10. Flores is going to throw for the first time he's pursued, gets away from that, and it's through the hands of the intended receiver, and so Clark will have to punt it away.
But a really nice job by Jason getting out there, out on the right side, feeling the heat. Guy came clean there and throwing on the run, showing off his baseball skills, put it right on a dime, but just a little too quick for the receiver to handle.
Dylan Nichols with the pressure for the McCollum Cowboys, doing a great job off the edge. Eric Torres back to receive this punt off the foot of Ben Hooper. It's an end over end. We'll check up there right at about the 50, and it's taken but downed right there, and that's where McCollum will have it when we come back. The Cowboys with their first possession live from Dub Ferris Stadium. Welcome back to Ferris Stadium. The McCollum Cowboys will take over right at midfield with Ryan Ramirez getting the start at quarter. Remember, he's a true freshman. Of course, every freshman in high school is a true freshman.
That's right. Yeah, I'm not going to redshirt you there in high school.
Big kid, though, for a freshman. First and 10. They've been waiting to hand it to this kid. Handy has it, but the Clark defense in full pursuit. Anthony Garcia, the first one there, but he had a lot of company.
Yeah, Anthony Garcia really read this one, and he was all in. Watch, he's shooting a gap somewhere in here and just gets a clean look and does not whiff. It's a good start for the Clark defense.
Second down, 17 to go for the Cowboys. Excited to have Handy back. Freshman will keep it. And again, he's going nowhere as Clark had that one read from the get-go as well.
Yeah, just another really good play on the outside. Specifically, Tajon Spencer.
Xavier Hernandez, their center, anchors that line for the McCollum Cowboys. In the backfield, they're looking forward, as I said, to having Handy healthy for the first time. Eric Leha's a big target for them. And Anthony Bonaccini is also a favorite target of their quarterbacks.
Dude, that was really good.
Sound like a good restaurant. Bonaccini's in motion. And it's going to be it look like we're going to have a flea flicker type action pass. Trinity Chavez. It's going to set up 4th down, and Clark will get it back quickly. And right away, that Clark defense pushing McCollum back 10 yards, and the Cowboys, who have struggled, only scored 2 touchdowns all season, going to have a tough time of it again tonight against Clark as Bivens is back to receive the punt.
Well, Dalton Jones, number 15, doing a really nice job for Clark on the back end, and really Eric Leha, great heads-up play, not throwing that football. There was nothing downfield.
Bivens is going to let this one bounce at the 30. Takes a good McCollum hop all the way down past the 20, closer to the 17-yard line. So a nice punt by the Cowboys, and that's where the Cougars will have it when we come back.
Time now for our Hallmark University keys to the game, and for the Clark Cougars tonight, who now are getting ready to possess the ball for the 2nd time this evening. They want to win the turnover battle tonight, get some big plays downfield. They also do not want to have any penalties. It's kind of been the bugaboo, Don, for their first 3 games, but as we said, you know, play here, play there. This could be a 2-1 football team right now.
Played well against Roosevelt, played very well against Lee to pick up their first victory of the season last week. Had some penalty issues in week 1. Had some penalty issues on this first drive. As Flores takes off, and he's got some room. Nice pickup before Ryan Valdez finally brings him down. That's good enough for a Kielbasa Smoke Meats first down.
Yeah, Jason Flores, I mean, again, you can just talk about the hot start to his senior season, and that's been the most surprising thing the coaches tell us about his year. They knew he could throw it. There was never any question about that. It's just been his ability to see things and then move the ball downfield and move the chains with his feet. He's been surprisingly good and really given Clark a really big weapon at that position they haven't had in quite some time.
Second carry is also for another Kielbasa first down.
You can't discount his size and his throwing ability as well.
Early whistles. We have a timeout taken by the Clark Cougars.
Clark.
We'll take it with them. Clark trying to drive to score first. It's 0-0 from Ferris on Hallmark University Thursday Night Lights.
Welcome back in our Hallmark University keys to the game for the McCollum Cowboys, and they want some consistency on offense. Right now they're playing defense, but ball security is going to be key for the Cowboys tonight. They also want to win the turnover battle. They're hoping to try to get one of those right now.
Here's Bivens coming on a little sweep. He's wrestled down at about the 43-yard line by Mark Puente. Nice tackle there from the McCollum Cowboys. Set up second down and about 9, gain of about 1.
Yeah, Clark trying to hurry up here, but that's going to be so key to McCollum in this entire football game. If they can get some stops on these rundowns early on in these series, they're going to have a really better time of staying in this football game.
Puente and Bivens as Flores boots and throws it to Wente. Bears got it for a gain of about 2, but Jesse Puente there to bring down Wente.
Yeah, speed on speed right there, and I have on my notes, Bear Wente, fast. Dad played at Clark, fast. Baseball player, fast. He's sophomore, fast. Everything keeps coming up fast, so it's going to be fun to see this young man in the open space if the Cougs can get it to him there.
3rd and 5 for Flores. Hands it right up the middle, and Wente's got lots of room. Good enough for Kielbasa, first down and inside McCollum territory. Again, Puente and Ryan Valdez there to make the tackle, but not before he popped it right up the gut.
Well, you know, when you see sophomores and young guys getting on a football field, it's because they run very well, but this guy is built pretty sturdily. And, you know, he's been battling a little bit of the injury bug, but I'll tell you what, he's going to be one of those guys that are going to be electrifying in the years to come and is already making a name for himself.
Gibson split right, Balfour to the near side. The ball is faked, a little option play run. Flores still running as flags fly, gets to the stick. We got 2 flags thrown in the same area, both by the side judges. Jesse Puente with the tackle. Probably something that happened on the line of scrimmage pre-snap. May have been offsides.
Offside, defense, decline. Result of the play, 1st and 10.
Yeah, the guy tried to anticipate the snap count, get a little bit of a head start, and it didn't work out. And then just a great job by Jason Flores on the back end, busting a couple of those tackles.
All right, so they got Bivens coming in motion. Wente on this near side. It looked like it happened right again. This time it's Wente with a free play. He gets to the 20 before he's brought down there. And Puente already has a handful of tackles. Valdez there on that one, but it's going to be offsides against McCollum, it would appear.
5-yard penalty, 1st down.
Sets up another automatic 1st down and moves Clark really close to our Miracle Mattress red zone.
1st and 5.
Be 1st down and 5 for Flores. Again, it's Bivens in motion. Again, it's the give to Wente. He gets to the corner, driven out of bounds right at about the 13-yard line. Nick Caceres with the tackle.
And Evan Balfour, the wide receiver, doing a really nice job there to try to help get Wente out over there past the edge. Good job of wide receiver, help picking up his running back out there, throwing a key block.
Got another penalty.
Holding, offense, 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul, 1st down.
So they'll play this one over. It'll be 1st and 21.
Yeah, we talked about the keys to victory for the Cougs, and that's been the bugaboo early. You know, they're so multifaceted the way they do things on offense that sometimes it's kind of hard to get everybody on the same page, but that's a big penalty right there, moving this one back 10.
Evan Balfour to the left side. It's a quarterback keep all the way for Flores. Picks up about 3. Mark Puente there on the tackle. Ryan Valdez assisting with the stop. It's going to set up 2nd down and about 7.
So far, a pretty good drive put together. And see big Luke Gibson down there trying to get the play, see what's going on with that.
Steady rain coming, although it's a light rain. See if he has any effect on ball security as Bivens catches it out of the backfield, makes a nice jump cut to the side and gets all the way inside the 20 and inside our Miracle Mattress red zone as Eric Torres makes the tackle.
Yeah, sometimes, you know, you get these athletes out in space and his momentum kind of took him east and west instead of north and south. But once he got his footing underneath him, he was able to turn it upfield and make this a pretty manageable 3rd down.
Inside handoff to Wente, and he's going nowhere. Big number 78, John Trevino there to shut it down.
Yeah, maybe I spoke too soon because 78 was eating some space and getting some help from his friends, and now we'll see what the Cougs do. This is typically a play where they don't mind going for it on 4th down.
4th and 3. Ball just inside the 20. They need about the 16 and a half. It's a pitch to Wente. He's going to have that easily. He wants a lot more. In fact, Wente's going to score, running over a defender at the goal line. Touchdown, Cougars.
They've got some young, talented speed guys on this team. Bear Wente is one of them. And when these guys look at tape, Wente is going to really shake the hands of Kenny Bivens out here, number 5. Look at this seal block. I mean, just ate his man alive on that play. And then Wente squaring it up and bowling his way in.
The extra point is up and good by Alan Rodriguez, and the Clark Cougars have a 7-0 lead here at Ferris Stadium. So much for the a lot of throwing from this Clark offense. We've heard that they had changed things up a bit, but on a night like tonight, the ground game may be the safer play, and it's certainly effective with Bear Wente right there. And you talked about this speed. It was evident on that play as he got to the corner.
Yeah, just a really nice job all the way around, and even Clark, you know, overcoming the penalty on that drive too, which isn't always an easy thing to do. But, you know, you can tell, I mean, the Clark guys, they've usually got the big guys up front, and then, you know, they're going to have some skill guys as well, lining up in the backfield and outside, but just a great pitch by Jason Flores, and then all kinds of space. But again, you can't discount the block that he got downfield from Bivens, and then a little train wreck right at the goal line. Bam!
All right. Ryan Valdez and David Ayala back deep to receive the kick from Rodriguez. It's going to be Ayala at the 15. He's got some room if he's got enough speed to get out there, and he just does not quite have it, as a nice tackle is made by Bobby Owens.
Yeah, good coverage by the Cougs special teams on that one.
Looking at the America's Diamond Smile Cam. Rain coming down, but that's not putting a damper on the fun had by the Clark student. It's right there in the stands. A lot of umbrellas on the parent side, but the kids, they don't care. They're going to get wet. Who cares?
You're lying, man. That's a big freshman right there.
Ryan Ramirez hands it off to Handy, and he is eaten alive by London Vasquez. Oh my goodness, what a play by Vasquez.
Yeah, going to have to do some different things to try to mix it up, because Clark is getting a lot of pressure from their front four early in this football game.
Vasquez, a senior.
London is burning. Wasn't that a movie? Mercy.
Burning to make a tackle. He's got some good ones up there with him, with Tristan Bell and Benjamin Booker. Here's the freshman throwing it out of the backfield, and Handy's going to have no room to run as he's taken down by that Clark defense.
Yeah, really good job there, Don, by the second line of defense. I mean, they were sniffing the screenplay out right from the onset. And again, 99, just quicker than most. Really disrupting the early rhythm by the young quarterback, Ryan Ramirez. And, you know, it's going to be interesting to watch his season evolve. This is really going to be his first high school start, and his dad's a receivers coach. His dad played at McCollum too. So coach's kid, they feel like he gives him some more options with his ability to throw the ball, and not a bad little run right here.
You can see he's got the size. He picks up about 6. Unfortunately, they needed 15, so it's going to be 4th down, and Anthony Garcia making the tackle is going to force the Cowboys to punt it as Bivens is back to receive it. Joel Chavez, the punter from McCollum. They'll probably keep it away from Bivens because he can make you pay if you kick it to him.
Clark special teams pretty good at blocking punts over the years.
Gets it away. Bivens again is going to get out of the way and let it bounce. It's going to check up right there at the 45. As we go down to the sidelines, and Mike Hernandez. Mike?
Yeah, so we're checking out the radar right now, and we got this light rain here, and the radar is continuing to show just this little pocket from Leon Valley up to Bandera into Helotes. It's not producing any thunder or anything, but there's the light, steady rain that I think we're going to keep. Looks like probably for most of the first half as well. Other than that, though, things are quiet. Doesn't seem to be affecting the footing much, and I'm surprised that I guess this kind of field absorbs the water pretty good, because I haven't seen anybody slip around a lot.
Mike, we got a big night of Friday Night Fever tomorrow night. What's the forecast? Will this continue into the weekend?
Yeah, and I actually think tomorrow's chances of rain are going to be a little bit better. We're going to keep about a 20% chance, a legitimate 20% chance of rain to the afternoon, early evening in spots all the way through the weekend. And then next week there's actually going to be...
Hold on, Mike.
Oh, yes.
Eric Winty is off to the house again. Touchdown.
Bare necessities, the simple bare necessities of life.
That's his nickname. Eric's his first name. He goes by Bear, and he went 60 to the house on that one.
I don't know if I even saw this. I mean, look like a flash.
You talked about his speed, and he's got good vision, too.
Yeah, ability to elude tackles, and guy nipping at his feet. Ran right through it and into the end zone. Electrifying.
Just like that, it's 14-0, Clark. And didn't mean to interrupt you there, Mike. Continue, please.
Well, I was just saying that it doesn't seem to be causing much footing problems for the runners. The field must absorb the rain very well. As you saw, he ran right through that without any issues. Anyway, the forecast for tomorrow, I think we're going to continue to see some rain chances through tomorrow for Friday Night Lights into the weekend. It's going to be spotty, but there will be folks every day around the area. They're going to get some. And then the next week, the rain chances actually get a little better with the cold front that's going to move on through. May feel like fall, actually, by early next week.
Well, Chuck was in Denver for the Cowboys lightning delay, and then we had one again tonight. So is he bad luck? Should I take him with me to San Marcos for the UTSA Texas State game, or is that game going to be pretty safe?
I would put him in the closet and just leave him there till Monday if it was me. But for you, yeah, I would go ahead and take him, but there are going to be some showers around, just so you guys know. Maybe a rumble of thunder through at least the early evening. But again, it's in a spot today. Tomorrow it may be on the northeast side of town. It's going to be in patches and spots every day, a little bit different.
All right, thanks, Mike.
You guys blaming me for something that is completely out of my control.
I'm just saying,
surprising
2 for 2.
Nobody.
2 for 2.
You're all wet.
The 15. He forced out of bounds right there at the 20. And McCollum will have another shot at it offensively. Jeremy Gutierrez with the tackle as that steady rain is coming down on the Cowboys. Gives us time to tell you about our San Antonio All-Star Cheer Challenge. You heard about it off the top of the show. Go to the CW35.com. Register your cheer squad. The top 4 teams get to cheer at either the Army All-American Bowl on NBC and News 4 San Antonio, or the San Antonio Sports All-Star Game presented by HEB right here on the CW35. And the best gets a $1,000 grant. The runner-up gets a $500 grant. Only a couple of weeks left to register your cheer squad. Here's a handoff to Handy. He stood up and thrown down for another loss. Clark's Clifford Geyer there with the tackle.
Clark has a lot of guys that so far in this football game on the defensive side that are living on the other end of the line of scrimmage. So, you know, McCollum at some point is going to have to move the pocket, do something to try to get this defense out of a rhythm, because they are licking their chops and really getting after it at this point.
6 tackles for loss in 7 plays for McCollum. So, yep, Clark dominating the line of scrimmage right now as that ball's tipped up in the air and almost intercepted. Geyer had his hands on it, just couldn't quite bring it in.
Yeah, and this is an avalanche right now. Clark really playing some downhill football. Missed a golden opportunity right there to get the ball back to their offense, but we'll see what McCollum chooses to do here on 3rd and long. It has been a struggle, to say the least, to get going in this football game.
It'll be 3rd down and 11, and tough night for the Cowboys. They've struggled offensively this year. Scored 2 touchdowns 2 weeks ago. Get Handy back tonight, but they're just tonight running into a very good front 4. He's getting a dominating push with the ball is fired over the middle, again off the hands of the intended receiver, Juan Covarrubias, and incomplete.
Now they got Eric Leha, number 88, probably their most athletic kid on offense. So they've got some weapons, but it's just been one of those things. You know, right now, the early part of this year, they're trying to figure some things out as they get ready to go into league play. But it's been a tough first quarter for these Cowboys. No doubt about it.
36 seconds left here in the first. Bivens with his heels on his 45-yard line, and it's blocked. Clark's going to scoop it up, and Clark is going to score. Touchdown, Cougars. That's Mark Schultze with the recovery. Clifford Geyer got through to block it, and special teams now adding to the offense and defensive dominance of the Cougars.
Yeah, Clifford Geyer, we talked about how good the Cougs have been over the years at blocking kicks, and oh, look at that. He just took an inside route, got a clean shot, and then Mark Schultze, another one of the two-sport guys that the Clark Cougs have. Really good baseball player, and will probably never have an easier touchdown the rest of his life.
The kick is up and good. It is 21-0 Cougs. And speaking of Mark Schultze, he's one of our Texas Silkscreen and Embroidery player profiles tonight, a 4.0 student who's in the National Honor Society, the Young Men's Service League, the Association for Student Change, the Latin Club, and as you said, Chuck, as outstanding athlete on both the baseball and football field, and he's in the top 5% of his class at Clark, and that's saying something.
Yeah, you know, an all-district performer, had a walk-off dinger last year in the spring for the Cougs baseball team. Comes from good bloodlines. Daddy's a doctor, brother's at Texas, really smart player, former Clark baseball player as well. Good kid, and making something happen his senior year. Nice going, Schultze.
Before the end of the night, you're going to have to say, I know nothing.
I need strudel. Hogan.
Intern Derek has no idea what we're talking about.
Yeah,
up here.
I don't think most people do.
70s references. David Ayala taking it at about the 6-yard line, splits the defense and all the way down to near the 28-yard line. And hey, don't forget, after Thursday Night Lights, we got more great programming coming for you right here on the CW35. Penn and Teller Fool Us, and the 1 millionth season of Whose Line Is It Anyway? Coming up on the CW35 tonight.
Yeah, it must be a good show if it's been on a million years.
Show. It's a funny show. Very talented individuals. Improv comedy there. Not as good as Hogan's Heroes, but good nonetheless. Inside handoff to Handy, stood up at the 30. A couple of Cougars there, including number 47, Corey Tackett on the tackle. Sets up second down and about 9. But it won't happen here because we're going to tick down to zeros, and it's been all Clark Cougars here in the first quarter. 21-0 for Steve McGee's crew. But the Cowboys have it, and they'll be trying to score when we come back to Ferris Stadium. Welcome back. Time for our Wellness for Life by Dr. Pinkston. First quarter highlights was the Eric Bear Wimpy show. He got Clark on the board with that 19-yard touchdown run and then followed it right up after that, going 60 to the house to put Clark up 14-0. They dominated on defense, 7 plays for loss, and then special teams coming through. Clifford Geyer with the block, Mark Schultze with the scoop and score, and that's where we are right now, 21-0. McCollum with the football as we switch ends to start the second quarter. We're going to hand it off to Jonathan Handy coming this way. Has a bit of a seam, hits it, and gets a first down for McCollum. Clifford Geyer with the tackle, and a nice stretch play there by Handy as Chuck, we take a look at the first quarter stats, and a lot of negative signs there for McCollum.
Yeah, and that was really a nice run by Andy right there to get McCollum on the plus side of the ledger for the first time all night, but obviously it's been all Clark in the first quarter.
First down, their first of the game. They hand off to Handy. He tries to stretch it out, but Clark staying at home. Again, Clifford Geyer calling his number a lot tonight. London Vasquez in there with him.
Yeah, and as this McCollum team kind of moves forward, you know, we talked about the fact that it's been a little bit of a rough start to the season for them, but it's just been growing pains. And, you know, they lost a 2-year starter last year at quarterback in Jordan Ortega, who graduated. And, you know, when he graduated, his talent and his leadership went with him. So they're young up front. They've got an inexperienced QB. And, you know, the one thing that Coach was telling us this week is he's really proud of how these guys have just kind of stayed with it as the ball gets loose.
Ball's out. Anthony Garcia with the cause of the fumble. Looks like McCollum has recovered. Well, actually a gain on the play on the recovery. And that's just a, may have been even helmet to helmet, just a big time pop by Garcia. However, it did not knock Ryan Ramirez off his feet. Shows you how big and strong that freshman is at quarterback.
Yeah, and as we were saying, you know, his dad was a quarterback at McCollum back in the day, and he's the receivers coach. And again, they really like what this guy can give them in terms of throwing the football. And you know, there's going to be some growing pains when you're a freshman playing varsity level football, but it also speaks to the athlete that they think they've got in young Ryan Ramirez. So, you know.
False start, offense, 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
That's part of the growing process when you're in high school. Although when you're a freshman playing at this level, you're going to get some bruises along with those lessons along the way.
They had a great opportunity there converting on 3rd down at a 3rd and a yard and a half, but that penalty will make it closer to 7 for the young freshman, Ryan Ramirez. Handy in the backfield with him. Fakes it to him, now wants to throw over the middle. Said he'll throw it out of the backfield, and he just short-armed it for his intended receiver, and that'll set up 4th down.
And Clark doing an amazing job all the way around in that particular play. The zone holding up well, and Sean Connaughton, another one of those baseball guys that plays football too, playing defensive line for the Cougs, and had a decision to make, decided he was going to go for the quarterback, put the heat on, and they're doing incomplete. Nice play, Sean.
So Cowboys will punt again here tonight. Joel Chavez with the honors, and Kenny Bivens will stand at his 29-yard line to receive this one. The last one was blocked. So Clark Mason and House again. Geyer did a fantastic job. In fact, he's still backing up the blocker all the way inside that 25-yard line. I don't know if we can get another look at that, guys, on the replay. But the ball goes inside the 10. But check out Clifford Geyer when we come back. We'll show it to you right after this. Clark up 21-0 on McCollum. Welcome back to Ferris Stadium. Clark all over McCollum, 21-0 here as we play on in the second quarter. And so far, it's been all Cougars dominating on offense, defense, and special teams. All 3 phases have been total domination by the men in black tonight as Jason Flores runs out the offense again. Worst field position for Clark. Best starting spot if you're a McCollum Cowboy fan. And that's where Flores will start off at his own 9-yard line. Keeps it himself, and he's got a lot of room to run. He gets a block across the 25, short of the 30. Jesse Puente there on the tackle, but not before he picks up another Kielbasa first down.
Yeah, just one of those guys that looks the part, Don. I mean, he's got size and speed, and you see how he picks him up and puts him down, too. And I'm a little surprised. I didn't know he was this fast. And I watched him play a lot of baseball last year.
Called quarterback draw. Dylan Nichols on the tackle. That one didn't get out. Had 3 receivers to the left-hand side and just snapped it again to see if they could take advantage of that formation by the McCollum defense.
Injury timeout.
We've got an injured player down for McCollum, and we will take the break with them. It's Clark 21-0 at Ferris. Welcome back. The America's Diamond Smile Cam was over at McCollum High School today. Getting a look at the spirit of the Cowboys and the Cowboy Nation. Everybody had a good time. They're fired up. Can't tell that they were 0-3 coming into this game. That's a great thing about high school football. Extracurricular activities. Getting everybody fired up.
Yeah, such great, rich tradition at McCollum High School. And one of the things we like so much about Hallmark University Thursday Night Lights is they're getting around to just about everything they do at the schools and highlighting them here on the broadcast.
Sets up 2nd down and 10 for Clark. Full backfield there with Jason Flores. Hands to Bivens. He's stood up for a gain of about 2 before his forward progress is stopped. Sergio Martinez in there, first contact. Clark wants to go quickly here on 3rd down, and we'll call it 7. Clogging that big middle for McCollum. Doing a good job all night. Big number 78, John Trevino. They throw out in the flat, and Bivens just can't handle it. Incompletion, and so the McCollum defense gets a stop.
Yeah,
on 4th down.
Take a look at Jason Flores. I mean, he's had 2 incompletes tonight, and both of them were catchable footballs. So again, he's been the focal point of this offense through the first month of the season, and really, really looking the part. I mean, he's a very impressive season so far. As we talked about coming into this game, over 800 yards of total offense, both running and throwing the football. So look the part.
Aaron Torres lets it bounce inside the 30. It's going to roll all the way inside the 25 to about the 24. And that's where the Cowboys will set up shop, trying to get something going offensively, and down 21-0. Greg Felix, very optimistic after the last week's performance and getting some guys healthy back this week. But so far, his team just dominated by that Clark front 4. And seeing Big London Vasquez, number 99, the right defensive end, and 46 there in the middle of your screen playing linebacker. Geyer's been everywhere tonight. 1st and 10, and Handy pops it outside and has some room. He's got some speed across the 40 to about the 44-yard line before he's finally brought down by Justin Johnson, but something to build on there from the Cowboys, and you can see why they are so excited to get him back in uniform this week.
No question about it. I mean, we got a first-team all-district performer last year that scored 17 touchdowns and rushed for well over 1,000 yards. And again, still not 100%, gutting it out, helping his boys. He's had a couple of nice explosive plays here in the first half.
That's a Kielbasa smoke meet first down, and here he is again. Handy with another Kielbasa first down. 2 carries in a row before Anthony Garcia brings him down.
Yeah, and the offensive line doing a really nice job as well, starting to assert itself and make some positive run plays, and it all starts with big Xavier Hernandez, number 70 up front, and some of his cohorts there on the right side, Charo and Pena, and then Salazar and Gonzalez over on the left side. But Jonathan Handy, you know, I think more than anything else is looking to just find his rhythm as these guys get ready to go into league play.
Signs of life from the Cowboys as Handy has it again. This time, though, he's snowed under by Garcia, who came up to make the tackle from the safety spot.
Yeah, and he's been doing a really nice job kind of going all in and playing up around the line of scrimmage so far to start this football game. A lot of gambling on the back end by Clark, and it's worked every single time, and just really nowhere to run for Handy. There's too many Cougs on that side of the football.
2nd down, 15 for the Cowboys. Handoff coming this way to Handy, and again, he's stood up by Garcia, who's made 2 tackles in a row. That's a nice gain on the play, but it's going to set up about 3rd and 7.5 for the Cowboys, who have crossed midfield.
Anthony Garcia again. He got a little nicked on that play right there, and wouldn't surprise me. It seems like he's been on every single play to this point. But another nice patient run by Handy as well. You can see why they're so excited to get this young man back into the fold.
3rd and 7. Freshman throws it out in the flat, and he just rushed to throw. It looked like a bit. Eric Lehi, his intended receiver. It'd be interesting to see what they do here on about the 42-yard line. Might as well go for it. You're down 21-0. I don't know if the coaches are kind of thinking it over right now. Now it looks like they've made the decision to go ahead and go.
Yeah, I mean, why not, right? I mean, all this experience that some of these young guys are getting is going to prove to be invaluable down the road. And, you know, again, that's the best part about these non-district games for coaches and players. You get a chance to experiment a little bit.
Ramirez throwing it to Leha, a little bubble screen action. Makes one man miss, but he's not enough to get close to the first down as Clifford Geyer again over there. And Clifford Geyer is dominating this football game from the defensive perspective, and also on special teams. He's got a blocked kick 6. It's Clark all over McCollum, 21-0. We got 5 minutes to go in the first half. Hear from Ferris when we come back. Welcome back to Dub Ferris Stadium. 1st and 10 for the Clark Cougars, who already lead 21-0. Driving their own 42, 5:42 to play. It's a pitch option to Renty, and he's met behind the line of scrimmage, and that McCollum defense follows suit. Joshua Ramos, the first one there, and he really shut that play down.
Yeah, really just outstanding pursuit by the entire McCollum defense on that particular play. Jason Flores did the right thing. I mean, he has to hold the ball until somebody comes up and makes him pitch it, which he did. He took a shot. Baird took a shot. And there were like 3 or 4 other guys that were ready to take him down.
All right, Twins here to the far right side. That's Bivens and Gibson. Fires this way to Bivens, who can't quite grab the short hop. Flores didn't quite get it there. Had a nice blocker, and Gibson set up in front of him. So instead it'll be 3rd down and 10 from the 42, and they'll run Gibson to the other side. Matt Gutierrez is in the slot. Evan Balfour standing right there at the 40-yard marker at the near side. Definitely a passing down for the Cougs here. Straight drop for Flores, going deep. He's got Bivens out there. He almost made the catch. Went through his hands. He was worried about his feet and couldn't quite bring it in.
Just another dime by Jason Flores, though, huh, Don?
Beautiful throw.
Look at this. A tight spiral, and could not have thrown it any better.
Holding, offense, decline, 4th down.
Wasn't going to matter anyway because of the hold. And so Clark will have to punt it away again, and Eric Torres will be back there to receive it for the McCollum Cowboys.
Ben Hooper back there to punt, number 10. Ben's a really good baseball player, too. I mean, he's a guy that got on the field a lot as a freshman, was a really, really talented hitter. And he's going to catch this year for the Cougs.
And it's fair caught there from Torres. We're coming back with the Cowboys ball. Welcome back to Ferris Stadium. McCollum with the football. Ryan Ramirez, you can see his numbers, 17 yards toting the rock tonight. Down 21-0. He's got 1st and 10 at his own 28-yard line. Jonathan Handy in the backfield with him. He's going hand to Handy. Bounces off a tackler. Runs over another all the way down near the 40. What a tough, strong run by Jonathan Handy before Justin Johnson finally brings him down. But Handy dished out some punishment.
Indeed he did. And look at number 3 pulling over there. His tight end, Gerard Orozco. The senior, 185 pounds, coming out with a nice kick-out block. Helped spring his guy. Handy's dishing it out. And he's wearing a little bit of that turf on his arm right there after that one.
Dalton Jones wants to get the license plate of the truck that just ran him over. It's 20. 1st and 10. Inside, Handy running tough again. He and Clifford Geyer going at it now. TJ Spencer also there.
And I'm curious to see what Coach Felix told his guys. He had them all huddled up before this possession here by the Cowboys, and a lot more fight right now on this possession, lining up and just look across the field and see if you can find somebody to smash.
Handy is meeting the challenge, leading by example with his physical running. Inside of 3.5 minutes to play here in the first half. McCollum down by 3 touchdowns. 2nd down. And the young freshman just held on to that one too long on that zone read, didn't fool anybody. As Anthony Garcia there to make another tackle, but Handy just wanted him to make a decision. Give it to me, let me go, or not. But that's just inexperience from the young quarterback.
Yeah, Anthony Garcia has really had himself a whale of a ball game. Kind of reminds me of like a Leroy Butler type back in the day when the Packers had that safety up around the line of scrimmage making plays. I mean, the guy obviously has a nose for the football because seemingly he's been around the ball all night. Not seemingly, it's a fact.
Packers. You watch Packers?
Yeah, I do.
I didn't even know you were a Packers fan.
On occasion.
There's the ball fired incomplete. Nice ball, though, off the arm of Ryan Ramirez. Eric Leha, the intended receiver. While you were talking about him, I noticed something on the back of the helmets there for Clark. It says Clark, Texas. That's a thing, huh?
It is a thing, and it's been a thing, and I can't remember what my kids were telling me who dubbed it Clark, Texas, but it's a community, brother.
It's not an incorporated city there on campus, is it?
It should be. If it's not, it's a good idea.
I actually do like the phrase on the helmet. That's pretty cool. That ball snapped over the hands of their punter. He's still going to have a chance to get it away, and does. Takes a shot. No flag because there was contact with the football. Joel Chavez, the punter, who's now down, and there is a flag. Couldn't see it because it looked like it was hidden, and Gerald Green's going to get a little bit of an explanation. We'll have to figure out whether or not any contact was made with the football. But Gerald Green was all over it. He doesn't think that there was, and he thinks it's a legitimate penalty.
There's no foul on the play. The kicker was outside the box.
Okay, so it has nothing to do with the tip ball. It was the fact that he was outside the box, which makes him fair game. Still, our concerns are with the young man who really took a shot.
Boy, indeed he did. I mean, it's just the whole thing where he got to the ball and, still had the wherewithal to not only get to the ball, but also punt it and try to do the best he could to save his team some field position. But obviously the snap over his head, he did well just to get his hand on that ball. But yeah, took a massive shot, completely exposed. And I tell you what, man, that's a tough kid and selling out for his mates.
That's tough to watch. Full speed with the leg extended. Like you said, it's unprotected, and it's a clean play because he was out of the box. And when you're a free runner, you can't really blame the Clark defender.
No, that's right. I mean, once the ball is free and it's on the ground like that, then the possessor of the football becomes, in effect, a target.
Yep.
And no, I mean, the Clark kids are just playing hard, and again, just can't say enough about that young man and his ability to not only track that ball down, but still get off the punt.
Clark will take over. They're at their own 41-yard line. Flores hands to Wente, coming left, and staying home there on the edge was McCollum's Dylan Nichols.
Yeah, it
flag flies.
Looks like McCollum got a little bit of a quick start there.
Offside, defense, 5-yard penalty, first down.
Hey, San Antonio Sports and the U.S. Army are recognizing teams that have exhibited key values through their actions. To learn how parents, teachers, and coaches can nominate teams that go beyond the game, visit sanantoniosports.org. And notice teams doing great stuff around our community. 1st and 5. Flores boots him this way, looking for the man, throws underneath. He had 2 receivers that he wanted to go to. The second guy underneath was Gibson. He really wanted Evan Balfour downfield, but just didn't feel comfortable enough that he was open.
Yeah, it was one of those things where, he went through his progressions. He thought, okay, I could take a shot, but Lukey Gibson was wide open and they kind of misfired on that. But I like what Jason Flores sees downfield. I mean, his eyes were downfield and he was looking for the home run. He just decided he would take the safer throw.
Here's Bivens, watch out. Bivens into the clear, makes a man miss, makes a move, and just had a shoestring away from breaking it. Eric Torres grabbed him around his ankle as he cut back towards the sideline. Otherwise, he would have gone to the distance.
Yeah, a really nice play call there by the Cougs. Little counter action, and look at Bivens. Mercy, stopping on a dime and snapping a couple of ankles.
Going back to him, Bivens to the corner. Bivens showing speed down the sidelines, and he's finally knocked out down there. Jesse Puente knocked him out inside our Miracle Mattress red zone. They're going to start it right at the 17. Clark with 1:09 to work with, trying to make it 28-0. Here's Bivens for the 3rd play in a row, and he just dropped that one, and they'll call it a forward pass.
We could see the Cougs trying to get Kenny Bivens involved. He's electrifying. Obviously, he has great moves, and we've seen what he does in space, but he's played some running back and kind of moved him all over the field. And it's one of those guys that, Clark is glad he's on their squad.
They've got Gibson soloed up on this side, so they'll run option pitch and keeping it for about a 2-yard gain. The quarterback Flores, but Mark Puente stayed at home and brings him down close to the 17-yard line. Set up 3rd down and 9. Ticking inside of 40, and the clock runs as the Cougars will have 2 plays. They also have 2 timeouts, so plenty of time to run 3rd down here and then make a decision what they want to do on 4th. Flores taking his time as we tick inside of 20. And then Clark moves, and the clock will stop at 16.
Offense, 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
And you got 2 timeouts here. They're going to go ahead and run the play. 18 on the scoreboard, 16 on the television screen. There's a reverse to Bivens. He's got Flores out there blocking for him. Bivens to the 10. Bivens, touchdown Cougars with 9 seconds left in the first half. Clark strikes again.
How about that play design? And Bivens, certainly no stranger to varsity football. He's been playing on the varsity since he was a freshman, and even had his quarterback out there in front helping to spring him. It's a great job by Clark all the way around. I mean, to be able to run this clock all the way down to 8 seconds left and finish with a touchdown, just like you draw it up.
Alan Rodriguez with the kick is up to the left, but good. And Clark leads it 28-0. We've got 5 seconds to go here in the first half. Welcome back. Bivens and company dominating the McCollum Cowboys here at Ferris Stadium. It's 28-0, and a perfectly timed drive, as Chuck said, 6 plays, 59 yards, and to score with just 5 seconds to go. Perfect clock management as well.
Yeah, good all-around drive, and you got to think that Coach McGee is happy with what he's seen here tonight. I mean, obviously his defense is playing very well, and they wanted to limit the penalties and the turnovers, and they've got a couple of penalties, but they've been able to overcome them all to this point. Even on that last touchdown, I mean, it was 3rd and long and kept it on the ground, still got the punch.
Alan Rodriguez's kick should be the last play of the half. We'll have one more as McCollum falls on it. Right at the 32, 33. They'll have to snap it once before we go to halftime. I remind you that halftime is going to be very short, 5 minutes because of the rain delay. So anything you're going to throw in the microwave needs to be cooked in 5 minutes.
And if you're throwing something in the microwave, please bring it down to Ferris Stadium and we will help you eat it.
No time for the DiGiorno 18 to 22 minutes. Not at halftime. As Handy gets it, trying to get it to the corner, does, and that'll be the last play of the half. It's been all Cougars here at Dub Ferris. Clark 28, McCollum nothing. We're back with the second half quickly when we come back.
Welcome to the Countywide Service Company Halftime Show.
Welcome back to our halftime show. Not much of one tonight. It's a shortened halftime because of the rain delay. The McCollum Cowboys on the short end right now as we look at our Wellness for Life Dr. Pinkston highlights. It's been all Eric Wente early. He went in from 19 yards out to make it 7-0 Cougars. He came right back and took one 60 yards right down the pipe to the house. 14-0 Clark at that point. Their defense was dominant, 7 plays for loss. Their special teams coming up with a huge play. Clifford Geyer with the block. Mark Schultze with the score. And then Kenny Bivens. Kenny Bivens said, "Don't you know, Belle Biv DeVoe." Touchdown.
Well played.
Not Michael Bivens, it's Kenny. 28-0 Clark. And now it's time to go beyond the game. Celebrate middle school and high school teams that go beyond the game. San Antonio Sports and the U.S. Army are recognizing teams that have exhibited key values through their actions. This week, we recognize 2 schools whose recent service projects highlight beyond the game values. On September 8th, East Central student athletes from all the school's teams held a food drive for the San Antonio Food Bank. They promoted their efforts and then greeted fans and gladly accepted donations at Hornet Stadium prior to the varsity football game. After Hurricane Harvey, the Stevens High School softball team ran a diaper drive for families in the Houston area. The team collected more than 6,000 diapers and packages of wipes for the Texas Diaper Bank. These young people demonstrated the beyond the game values of selfless service, caring, and respect. To learn how parents, teachers, and coaches can nominate their teams that go beyond the game, visit sanantoniosports.org. Welcome back to Dub Ferris Stadium. Time for our Ernest Roofing second half kickoff. This is the way they should do it in every football game, right? The NFL halftimes are about 12 minutes. We cut that in half. Clark kicking off to McCollum. David Ayala across the 30. Nice job fighting down to the 35-yard line. Camden Morgan, the first man there. And McCollum will try to start a new half with a new series and a new spark. See if they can answer Clark's 4 touchdowns in the first half with a few of their own here in the second.
Yeah, and I really like the abandon that David Ayala returned that opening kick with. Showing a little attitude there at the end of that run. I like that.
Handy running tough, Ayala running tough. McCollum at this point just overmatched. They set up to go 1st and 10 from their own 35. It's Handy stretching it. Gets back to the line of scrimmage, and that's it. Justin Johnson, the first man there for the Clark defense.
Yeah, number 29 had his nose around the football again as well. Just a really good job of the right side of that Cougs defense stringing that out. just in time to have some reinforcements arrive.
Big Eric Leha in the slot on this play, 88, one of the favorite targets of freshman Ryan Ramirez, who's getting his first start tonight, although he's played in all the ball games. Running for his life here and not going to get out of it. In fact, ball's on the ground and the Cougars have it. I believe it was Geyer that covered it up. Connaughton knocked it free. And sure enough, Clifford Geyer with a recovery. His second big-time turnover of the night. Blocked the kick.
Yeah, really nice job there getting that ball loose, stripping it free. Sean Connaughton, a baseball field, had the biggest at bat in the Churchill game last spring. You know how good Churchill's baseball team was last year, and the Cougs ended up getting the win. He had the final at bat of the game, and the winning run came across.
That was big Brennan Monroe with the recovery. My bad. I want to credit Monroe. Wenthy runs through arm tackles inside the 25, and boy, he just kept those feet turning near the 20-yard line.
Yeah, it's not only that, Don. It's interesting, right? I mean, he's only a sophomore, but we've talked about his speed, and obviously that shows up, and everybody can see that. But I'm impressed with his vision and his patience, too. I mean, it's not just get the ball and go as fast as you can and as crazy as you can at all times. I mean, there's a certain amount of maturity about his game, even as a sophomore, that stands out.
Absolutely. He's joined with Bivens in the backfield here on 2nd and 1. It's a pass all the way and going deep down the sidelines for a man caught. Touchdown, Cougars. I believe it was Wenthy. No, it's Matthew Smith. Evan Balfour, number 84, with the catch for a Clark touchdown.
And just another superb throw by the quarterback.
Boy, that was brilliant.
Jason Flores doing a really nice job. He did a little pump fake, and that kind of froze the safety, and then he was able to get single coverage down the sideline and did not miss his opportunity to throw a TD pass.
Alan Rodriguez on for the extra point. It is up and true, and it's 35-0 Clark as they've blown it open here at Dub Ferris Stadium. Coming back with more of the second half here on Hallmark University's Thursday Night Lights.
Couldn't have put it in a better spot.
Welcome back. It's all Clark Cougars over the McCollum Cowboys here from Dub Ferris Stadium. If you're just joining us, we had an hour lightning delay to start this one. Got underway about 8:20. And it's been all Clark Cougars ever since. As they'll kick it down to David Ayala. Again, he makes a nice move. Ball's out. Clark's going to score on special teams. John Cortinas with the recovery and the score.
Did that just happen?
It happened just like that. Quicker than a lightning strike.
Well, we've had some of that tonight.
See who made the tackle. 20 with the strip, 21 with the score. Tajuden Spencer with the strip. And everything going wrong for Greg Felix's squad here tonight.
Yeah, it's 2 special teams touchdowns, so Clark truly is doing it in all 3 phases in this one.
Flags fly on the extra point. I believe McCollum was offside. They will decline that and take it.
Defense, decline.
Hey, we didn't get a chance to see the bands tonight, which was unfortunate because of the weather. But I know if you're a McCollum band parent that your favorite band is that Cowboy Marching Band, and you can still vote for our Sprouts Farmers Market $5,000 band grant. Same for you Clark folks. You missed your band tonight, but you can still vote for them. Text Band 8 to 44332 if you're a Clark fan. Band 7 to 44332 if you're a McCollum fan. And again, all season long, we will feature all of the bands. And the best, whoever gets the most votes, will get our $5,000 Sprouts Farmers Market Band Grant.
Yeah, Cowboys and Cougs, get on there and vote, because it is a shame. I mean, it was not what we had planned tonight with the lightning delay, and tighten this game up a little bit. Had to send some kids home that played in the bands, and as you said, Don, we were looking forward to that, as we always do. So please go out and vote for the McCollum bands and the Clark bands.
All right, so Clark getting used to doing this tonight. David Ayala, maybe a 6th or 7th return opportunity. He's slung out of bounds right at about the 34-yard line. Sean Connaughton there with the tackle. And let's see if Steve McGee calls off the dogs or he sends the ones back out there, and it does look like he's got a starting unit for the most part. Geyer getting a break.
Well, you know, defensively, it was a little bit of a struggle for the Cougs to begin the year. They gave up a lot of points to both Churchill and Roosevelt, and then we started to see some signs last week, and we saw Lee, obviously, in our opener, our Hallmark University TNL season opening ball game. So, you know, this Coug defense looks like it's starting to really get the feel for what's going on and having some continuity, and they've got a lot of guys that have been making a lot of plays tonight in this one.
Handy's gain for about 5. Justin Johnson on the tackle. Sets up 2nd down and 7 for the Cowboys. Take a look at our Hallmark University champion and MVP trophy. Monarch Trophy, as always, our great sponsor and friends, providing the hardware as Handy gets a 1st down and more. Boy, he does a great job of fighting through contact, still fights his way all the way down inside the Clark 40-yard line before Braden Johnson picks him up, but just another great run by Handy.
1, 2, 3, 4, and the 4th guy was able to trip him up there at the end, but again, we can't talk about the job that this young man did last year and the wonderful season that he had and how much they were going to lean on him this year, especially with how young they are in certain spots. And again, it's been a struggle. He'd been banged up and finally started to play a little bit last week, but I think this bodes well for the Cowboys going forward.
So Kielbasa Smoke meets 1st down as Ramirez mishandled the snap, and then that play kind of fell apart after that part as the Clark defense got through there. Again, Monarch Trophy providing the hardware for tonight's MVP. You can give them a call at 344-3777 for all your trophy needs. If you're a business, awards, plaques, give our friends at Monarch Trophy a call. They're the best in town. 2nd and 10, and timeout is called by Greg Felix's squad. We'll take it with them.
That's their first
down
timeout
42-0. McCollum trying to make something happen here at Dub Ferris Stadium on San Antonio's north side on Thursday Night Lights. Welcome back to Ferris Stadium. McCollum's offense on the move after a couple Kielbasa 1st downs. It's 2nd and 10 right now for Ramirez as we have a pre-snap flag. He's firing it and knocking it away as the Clark defense, but there is a flag on the play. We'll see what it is. Getting in there to knock it down was Cortinas, who scored.
Offside, defense, 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
So a free play for the Cowboys. Doesn't pay off, but they'll take the yardage.
All of a sudden, McCollum's got a little drive going here tonight.
Be great to see the Cowboys get something positive here. Again, shut out in 3 of their 4 games so far.
And Coach Felix was talking about the fight of his kids and said he couldn't ask for anything more. They give it 100% every single week, but it's been baby steps as some of these young guys get their first varsity snaps.
3 receivers to his right, hands to Handy up the middle. Handy's a tough physical back, and he picks up a Kielbasa 1st down and sticks his nose inside the Clark 30. Tristan Bell there to make the tackle, but again, a nice run by Handy. Tough yards for that young man. You can see he's paying for it, limping a little bit.
Yeah, he's done a lot of this himself. He's pretty much been the offense tonight for McCollum, and I think that's just the way he likes it. A tough, gritty kid, and Already has a pretty darn good resume at McCollum High School.
New set of downs for the Cowboys. 3 wide receivers. And again, Ramirez having a tough time with the handle. Finally gets that back. Don't know if it's the weather. Don't know if it's part freshmanitis, but he's had a little bit of a hard time hanging on to the football here tonight.
Well, it's tough too. You know, you've got this read option stuff going, and Clark essentially sending the house. I mean, there's a lot to look at and a lot of variables there. And again, you're talking about a freshman getting his first snaps as they try to integrate him into this offense. There's going to be some learning curve. There's no question about it.
6:45 to play, 2nd and long. Ramirez loses it again, and it's gobbled up by the Clark defense. Big number 99 in there to recover it. London Vasquez. I'm sorry, it's 90. Tristan Bell.
Yeah, just a lot of activity in the backfield again, and Clark very active with their hands. Ball hockey. And they have really done a good job tonight. Look at that, just an outstanding job there. Reaching across and knocking that ball away is Braden Johnson. And then big number 90 gets to eat.
Yeah, Johnson with a nice job just knocking it loose. Tough night for the freshman, but you know what? He's going to be around a long time, and with his size and this experience, it'll pay off for him. Up the middle, across for a first down is a new ball carrier for the Clark Cougars, and that's Chris Oscan. And coaches are high on him this week. Pregame, Eric Torres with the tackle, but talking to the coaches pregame, they said, look out for this kid. He's not our starter, but if anybody else gets to carry the football or catch it, it's going to be him. Handoff inside to Wente.
Cougs also making some wholesale changes here.
Micah Thomas on the carry.
Truett Heinzelman, number 12, the sophomore's in at quarterback.
He's had some playing time earlier in the season as well. Had a few carries on the year.
Yeah, just invaluable when you're talking about trying to grow up your quarterback in this system.
Flags fly as Heinzelman hands to Oscan. All new Clark Cougar.
Offside, defense, 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
Another offsides penalty on the Cowboys, and whole new unit out there for the Clark Cougars offensively. Good opportunity to get a lot of guys playing time. Second and 5. Oscan near the stick, going to be short, going to be 3rd and about 1.5. Clark is content to run a lot of running plays and a lot of clock here midway through the 3rd quarter. Spencer McBeth split out to the left side along with Micah Thomas in the ball game. Heinzelman's got Oscan behind him on 3rd and 1. Movement up front again. Oscan's got the first, and he's got all the way down to the 30-yard line. Sergio Martinez with the tackle, but not before another Kielbasa first down for the Cougs, who want to go quick with tempo.
Yeah, so quick with tempo. They were eager to get the ball back to the referee so they could snap this ball quickly again.
William Dyken at the bottom of your screen as Thomas comes in motion. Hand to Thomas, looking for some room, and he's eaten up. Good pursuit by the Cowboy defense. Eric Torres over there on the tackle. I tell you what, Eric Torres has been a busy man tonight, number 9.
Yeah,
well done. Good effort.
As we take another look too, and I kind of like what Micah Thomas did there at the end. He's looking for some contact himself, getting a chance to show what he can do under the lights.
Absolutely.
contact sport, I'm going to give you some.
2nd down and 12, inside handoff. Oscan picks up 5. Clock continues to run. We'll be inside of 3 minutes after this play here in the 3rd quarter. Joshua Ramos on the tackle. As Macbeth changes sides with Dyken. Thomas now in the backfield as Steve McGee's staff changes the call and gets a play call in there. Plenty of time to snap it. 9 on the play clock. And we had a little bit of a hitch by the center. That's going to be a false start. Here's Gerald Green.
False start. Offense. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
All right, so they'll back it up 5 yards. It'll be 3rd and 12, 3rd and 13 for the Cougars. And Stephen McGee's got to be content with his squad right now. Back on the winning track. It'll be 2 games in a row if they hang on here. After a rough start in week 1, but really started to turn around in week 2 against Roosevelt. Heinzelman tosses it. It's caught. Getting maybe about a 6-yard gain is Micah Thomas.
Yeah, nice ball by that young man. Got a defender barreling down, squaring him up, and able to chuck that off his back foot and still get something on it.
They're going to let Alan Rodriguez try something nearly 40 here, maybe 42.
Well, again, you know, this is one of those things that Clark's working towards being the best team it can be once they get into zone play, and you never know when you're going to need something like this later on in the season. So, you know, what the heck?
See what kind of leg the young man has from 45. Rodriguez gonna have the distance. Nope, just short and left. And it's no good. We'll take a break with Clark up 42-0. Good opportunity there for Stephen McGee to at least try it and see what he's got. It's all Clark at Ferris Stadium.
Closed captioning for tonight's game is sponsored by Lymphedema MD.
Welcome back to Ferris Stadium as you take a look at our Smile Cam brought to you by America's Diamond. Tell you what, those Clark Cougar fans still out here in force. As Handy comes running it this way. That's actually not Handy. That's Jared Huevanos. Flags fly. Scott McAlexander in at quarterback. He's taken about half the snaps this season before they handed the reins over to Ramirez earlier and gave him his first start tonight.
And Camden Morgan making a really nice tackle there in the open field. So get to see a little bit of everybody tonight, and that's really going to be cool too because, hey, here we go, a loose ball.
McAlexander running for his life, and another negative play from McCollum. Gilbert Solano got in there for the Clark defense.
Yeah, get a chance to see quite a number of kids and put them on TV tonight, so that's a cool thing.
You know, with Handy hurt early in the season, they had to turn to a lot of these guys. Torres, linebacker, Huevanos, a safety and linebacker, both were moved into the running back spots. And so they've had some carries this year. And McAlexander, a junior, started the season. So Huevanos has that one. And gets 3 or 4 back, and they'll punt it away. As we tick towards the end of the 3rd quarter, Jesus Solis with the tackle for Clark. And Brian Martinez in to punt it away. And back deep for the Cougars is Camden Morgan, getting his first shot at a punt return. Still have 7 seconds to snap it as McCollum gets their players on the field. 2-1, they do get it off. Low hop, quarter comes to an end on this play, and here's Morgan taking it in traffic and getting it past the 35 to about the 32-yard line, and that's where the Cougars will have it. We'll switch ends, and we'll start the 4th quarter when we come back, all Clark on Hallmark University Thursday Night Lights. Welcome back. Time for our third quarter Wellness for Life by Dr. Pinkston highlights. Evan Balfour on the 21-yard touchdown catch put Clark up 35-0. Special teams coming through. TJ Spencer with the cause. John Cortinas with the scoop and score. 42-0 Cougars, and that's where we stand with Clark in control. Now they've got the football. Take a look at our stats. Just a dominating performance, offense, defense, special teams all the way around for the Cougs, Chuck. 270 to 85 total yards.
What you said, bro. Yeah, it has been that way. But again, the best part about this is a lot of kids are getting on the field tonight. A lot of kids are getting playing time and invaluable experience for both of these teams. Not in terms, just in terms of, running a bunch of guys out there, and both teams are still trying to build towards league play. So a lot to play for both of these squads. And it has gone Clark's way, to say the least, though. Can't sugarcoat that.
We're going deep into the depth chart here. Christian Ayala on the carry there. We start the fourth quarter. Room to run on the left side is Micah Thomas. He's got a Miracle Mattress red zone and a Kielbasa first down, all in one swoop.
What you like that, though, too, is you're getting some of these fresh bodies in there and some of these guys finally getting a chance to show what they can do, and just the effort and the energy and the want to try to show their coaches that they can play ball. I mean, I like watching that kind of stuff, too.
Absolutely. Every rep is important for these guys. We've got a new quarterback in as well. A nice pop there by Ayala right up the middle. We're seeing Isaiah Reyes taking the snaps now.
Can't believe you haven't talked about the uniforms yet tonight.
Oh, I'm going to get there. I'm going to get there. And you're going to like what I have to say, Chuck.
I always do. And I was thinking not only that, but just some of the flow that these kids have for Clark. I'm liking that too. I'm the hair czar. You might be the uniform czar.
We're both jealous.
You got that right.
As Ayala pounds in near the 5-yard line. Of course, Chuck, if you go back and do some research, my hair was a lot like the quarterbacks at Clark right now. When I was in high school, I had serious flow. Just like that.
See, and
I got a picture to prove it on my phone.
You had the lettuce going, the hair cotton.
I had the wings, parted it right down the middle. Reyes is going to run for it. He's going to score. Touchdown Cougars to make it 48-0 with a chance to make it 49. Making it look easy.
Yeah, how does that feel?
Isaiah Reyes, senior quarterback, getting some snaps. Good for him. Put in a lot of time as a senior.
That's good stuff.
I tell you, the way they celebrate now, just jumping up and bumping into each other, that would wear me out, much less playing football. Just celebrating would wear me out. Kick is up, and it is good for the Cougars. They're up 49-0. And we've still got 9.5 minutes to go here on Thursday Night Lights. Welcome back to Ferris Stadium. 9:35 to play as the Clark Cougars will kick it away to the McCollum Cowboys, who are back to receive. And Chuck, since you asked for it, it's time. We need an open for this, Chris Kotfus. We need an open for time for observations from the uniform czar. You take a look at the Clark helmet. This is a huge upgrade for the Clark Cougars. they've experimented over the years with white and silver helmets, even black helmets. They've tried that C logo. They've tried the Cougar logo. At one point, they had the state of Texas, the outline of the entire state of Texas. Of course you're in Texas.
Yeah, but it's Clark, Texas, bro.
I know, but this is much cleaner. Clark, Texas on the back, that's cool. The number on only one side, that's very cool. Very Pittsburgh Steelers-like. And they've gone to this Under Armour look that's very clean, too. Solid black pants, that's a nice, nice touch. I really like the whole thing with one exception, and that at Clark, they've always struggled with their numeral font. If they would put the number font that's on their helmet on their jerseys, it would be a perfect uniform. But they still got that funky Art Deco numeral font. But otherwise, that's a giant upgrade. Meanwhile, for your McCollum Cowboys, as Wivanos takes it up for about 5 more yards, this is about as good as you can do the color green. Green is an awful color for a uniform, so you make it subtle. And they've gone with white and gray pants. That's a good look. And kind of a Colorado State look, kind of a Baylor look. The only exception with their uniforms is the Oklahoma State Cowboy helmet. There's no such thing as a green cowboy hat. And they're wearing that on their helmets, and it's too prominent. It's not a great logo anyway. I don't like it when Oklahoma State does it. I don't like when you copy another logo. But still, like a solid black M would be, a green M would be good. I'm just not a fan of, what's the Oklahoma State Cowboys mascot name, like Cowboy Joe or something?
I don't know,
anyway.
dude. I didn't know I was going to be working with, like, Mr. Blackwell.
Doctor.
We'd be doing whatever his name
Dr.
is.
Blackwell.
Honestly.
Isn't it? Anyway, it's a good uniform. Both teams, 2 thumbs ups overall.
Yeah, I think the McCollum uniforms are clean, and I like the Cougs uniforms, too. That's all I got. That's good. You're passionate about this. That's what surprises me. I didn't know this about you until we started doing these games.
Well, there's a whole ESPN's got a guy on staff that just does the uniforms. Maybe not still after what's happened at ESPN. We're coming back. 7:12 to play. It's all Clark, 49-0. Welcome back to Ferris Stadium, where the McCollum Cowboys trail Clark 49-0. 7:12 left to play, and you're looking at Jaron Gonzalez. Great kid. That's why he's being focused here by our Texas Silkscreen and Embroidery player profile. He's got a 94 GPO. He's a big football player at 6 foot 230, involved in the Fellowship of Christian Athletes.
And just like you, Don, a mechanical engineering guy.
Oh, no. Yeah, just like me. This kid's got a bright future.
Yeah, and obviously you saw what his family's doing in the community, too. That's good stuff.
They got some scores to pass on to you. Lanier leads Highlands 35-14 in the third. And it's the other way around. It's Highlands on top of Lanier, 35-14. South San played a really good Laredo United South team right down to the buzzer. In fact, they lose 33-34 in overtime. That's a United South team that went to the third round last year before losing to Churchill.
Yeah, how about the turnaround at South San? We talked about that, and then Highlands hasn't missed a beat with their new head coach.
And congratulations to Kevin Smizek and St. Anthony. They beat San Marcos Academy tonight, 35-0. So St. Anthony goes to 2-0. Kevin Smizek showing he can move from basketball to football and not miss a beat. Clark going now with even more of their younger underclassmen to get some experience and playing time, run the clock down. It ticks down near 5 minutes as they'll punt it away. And Clark will take this W with something to build on too as they get ready to go into district play. And what looked like a rough start after that Churchill game, they rebounded nicely. And we're heading back to break. Clark, 49, McCollum 0, 5 minutes to go here from Dub Ferris Stadium. Hey, it's our high school music service. Band Cam was out with the Clark Cougars earlier this week at the pep rally. The Tomcats. And Chuck, is that officially their mascot, the Tomcat being the Cougar? Is it Tom the Cougar?
No, it is not.
It's not?
No.
Okay. Just thought I'd ask. If anyone would know.
I'd forgotten. I mean, I had a daughter go through the dance program, and pretty much her whole life doing that, and the things that she learned from that were invaluable now as she begins her teaching career.
Wivanos with the carry to the corner. And it's time for the America's Diamond Smile Cam. The Clark fans with a lot to smile about tonight. Student trainers. Players too. Yeah, they've got a lot to smile about. The players get involved.
It's late, it's after hours.
That's right. There's a disclaimer that should run after any sort of 1 hour plus lightning delay. As we tick inside of 4.5 minutes to play. Wivanos, gain of 1. Clark came out and dominated this game from the get-go. Eric Bear Wenthy really established the running game. And really even more impressively was the way the defense played. Clifford Geyer and company. 7 plays for minus yards out of their first 8 plays.
As we take a look at Big Ben Sims, boy, he's going to be another weapon that the Cougs are going to have when they begin district play. Got a little bit of a leg ding right now, and talk about the weapon that this guy is.
6'5", 240, committed to Baylor. Had Southern Miss, Texas State, SMU, Bowling Green, Houston, and didn't Auburn come in late?
Yeah, after he's already committed to Baylor, Auburn and some other teams made a run at him. But, this is a firm kid, man. He's just one of those salt-of-the-earth kind of guys. Tremendous athlete, obviously, but he's like, I was talking to him before the game. It's like, I made my commitment. I'm a man of my word. I'm going to Baylor. I like the direction that they're going. I like what the new coaching staff has done and what they're trying to do to build the program, or rebuild the program, I should say, as the ball gets loose.
It's still loose. Clark with another chance to get on top of it, and they do. This time it's C.J. Benavidez with the recovery. Sims with a knee brace on tonight, but you look at Baylor's scores. They lost to UTSA, they lost to Duke, lost their opener to Liberty, which was a bad loss if you're a Baylor Bear fan. But listening to Matt Rule talk, he's going to turn that thing around. I really like that guy. I'm impressed. If he came to my living room and I was Ben Sims, I'd want to go there too. David Wetzel, class guy, who coached at Reagan for many years, recruiting the San Antonio area. I think Baylor's going to be fine.
And Sims was talking about, there's no doubt that Coach Wetzel from Reagan had a huge impact on him, and ultimately why he was going to go with Baylor. But he says he loves Waco, loves the school, loves what it's all about. And again, we already showcased a lot of these Clark athletes tonight, and just to be able to add a weapon like Ben Sims to the fold, Cougs. It's been a couple of lean years in terms of not making the playoffs, but I think that Coach McGee really feels like this is a playoff team, and they've got the weapons. They really feel like the quarterback's doing a nice job. The defense is starting to tighten up, and it's playoffs or bust for the head coach and his football team this year. They're not sugarcoating it. That's the goal, obviously.
Heinzelman in there, content with running as much clock as possible. The last thing Steve McGee wants to do is score again. So he's trying to avoid it at all costs. Stretches out as Thomas gets out of bounds. That'll stop the clock. Hey, time for our pick and pull collision of the game. Remember that touchdown by Bear. He goes from a bear to a bull at the end of this play. That is our pick and pull collision of the game when the rain was still coming down hard here at Ferris Stadium.
Yeah, and as AJ Garcia on Twitter hit me up earlier, he was like, he got Bo Jackson there at the end of the play. Might be dishing it out.
Ayala may score. Goes inside the 5. And that'll mean first down, and I would think that McGee would take a couple of knees here. We do have an injured Cowboy. Hey, time for our Office Solutions play of the night. It's the blocked punt by Geyer. And the scoop and the score for the Cougs.
Well, Schultze action.
Okay, I said it was time, but I was going to give you to the end of the night on Schultze. The I know nothing.
Didn't we? I think we already did that once. I know it's been a long broadcast. We had an hour-and-a-half delay where we had to tap dance for a little while.
All right, we're going to send it to a break. We've got an injured Cowboy on the field. We got 54 seconds left, so we'll take the break.
Who is Vulcan Materials Company? You see our trucks on roads all over San Antonio and the surrounding area. But what do we do? Well, our story began over 100 years ago. And today we are the nation's largest producer of aggregates. That's stone, sand, and gravel. Plus, we produce construction-based materials including asphalt and ready-mixed concrete. The stuff to build the roads you travel, the schools your kids attend, and the homes you live in. Everywhere you look, you will see our footprint. Our story is one built on the talent, dedication, and performance of our employees. Hardworking San Antonians just like you. Our mission is to be responsible stewards with respect to the safety and environmental impact of our operations and products. In other words, we want to be your good neighbor, doing the right thing, the right way, all the time. The Vulcan way. Who are we? We're the ones helping to build a rock-solid future in San Antonio. Vulcan Materials Company, proud sponsor of Thursday Night Lights and Scholar Athletes.
Okay. Welcome back. That's going to do it. Clark takes a knee. The clock will run out on the McCollum Cowboys, who dropped to 0-4. And Clark evens up their docket at 2-2. Rough night for the Cowboys, who had to endure the rain and then the Clark running game and that incredible Clark defense. When we come back, we'll hand out our Monarch trophies to our player of the game, the MVP, and to Steve McGee's Clark Cougars right after this.
Welcome to the Hallmark University Thursday Night Lights postgame report.
Stay with me. Great game, guys.
All right, let's send it down to Mike Hernandez, who's handing out some trophies tonight to cap it all off.
I am. First, how about a big hand for the Clark Cougars? Great win tonight. Solid win. Going to be talking to Coach here in just a few minutes. First, we're going to hand out a little hardware for our most valuable player of the game. It's a cup, the defense. You guys, do you realize first, the 6 out of the first 7 plays, you had losses, okay? And I do want to highlight one individual, and that's number 46. Yeah, Cooper Davis, yeah. What he did, he had a blocked punt, and he was in on a bunch of plays. So I want to give you a big thumbs up, brother. Okay. And our MVP is number 4, Eric Winty. Congratulations. 9 rushes, 113 yards, 2 TDs, and you have your own guy who does your clothes for you and takes care of you. That's good, man. All right, what do you think?
I gotta say, I have to put all this onto the sports medicine. Every time I got hurt or anything, it's up to them. And then also, exactly what he said, my O-line. Yeah. If it wasn't for them, I didn't have anything.
Yeah, I would take them to lunch or something, man. All right, just give another hand for your man here.
not old enough
Coach,
to work.
congratulations.
We're very excited. It's awesome. Great win for us.
So, moving forward, what kind of progress do you think you made tonight?
We got better, and that's all we want to do. It's a process. We want to get better each and every week, and we got better today.
All right. Well, congratulations. Look, I've learned this the hard way. I stay out of this. I want to give you your TNL championship trophy for tonight. I'm going to let your coach give it to you. How about a hand for your Clark Cougars?
Always the best part of the night. We're coming back with more here on Hallmark University Thursday Night Live. Welcome back. It's time to wrap it up here tonight from Ferris Stadium. Long night, not only for the McCollum Cowboys, but after the delay, we finally got underway. And here's our Wellness for Life by highlights. Eric Wente going 19 yards and made it 7-0 Clark. He's our MVP for a reason. This play part of that, 60 yards to the house, 14-0 Clark at that point. Mike Hernandez pointed out the efforts of Clifford Geyer. Did great work on defense and right here on special teams with the block. Mark Schultz, he scored to scoop it up and make it 21-0 Clark. And then in the second half, Kenny Bivens going 21 yards, second quarter rather, made it 28-0. Evan Balfour with a touchdown catch in the third quarter. Clark was up 35-0 at that point. Special teams coming through again. TJ Spencer with the strip. John Cortinas with the recovery and the touchdown made it 42-0. And then Isaiah Reyes, the senior backup, scored from 6 yards out to make it 49-0. And that is our Wellness for Life by Dr. Pinkston. Highlights, and we mentioned it earlier, Chuck. Anytime you have -5 passing yards and the total yards are 356 to 76, the final score is going to be what the final score is.
Yeah, I mean, and McCollum rolling out a bunch of young guys, including a young freshman who's only going to get better. But, yeah, it's just one of those nights where it was the Clark Cougars had a little something more to prove, and these guys are looking like they might be a force come zone play here. Get started here in the next couple of weeks.
Next week, we're headed to the Rock Pile. A good one for you. Jefferson and Burbank. Always a backyard brawl right there. We'll be at Alamo Stadium for Hallmark University Thursday Night Lights a week from tonight. Our executive producer is Dean Radla. For our producer, Chris Kotfus, our director, Brian Watts, for Chuck Mikatinik and Mike Hernandez down on the sidelines. For our statistician extraordinaire, Mark Kusenberger, and intern, Derek Machin on statistics, I'm Don Harris saying good night, everybody. We will see you next time on Hallmark University Thursday Night Lights.